And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thomson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Oh, yeah. It's hard to hear that name and get excited, but it is the Weighing In podcast where Josh the Punk Thomson and I are going to go over the biggest event that ever took place for the UFC 300. We got that, and we got the PFL, the PFL 2. Look at that beautiful weighing in shirt. He is flexing. I know you can't tell, but
they used me for that logo right there. That's what they used.
That what
they
that
used
is?
Me for that logo.
No wonder they have little arms on that sunburn.
Dave stole it just from right here. This is what it was right here. This is look. See, it looks just like me. Oh, I mean, I wish I would have put my neck in there with my jawline. Oh, we would have a lot more female subscribers. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Okay, now we know. Now we know.
Right.
Pardon me while I go throw up.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dave. Do me a favor. Just go to the side so I can go right by you.
I mean, he probably threw up in his mouth already. He probably just swallowed it, though. So you can't have him leaving the pod. So he's like, I'll just take it down right now. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, man.
How you feeling?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I got one question.
I'm so tired.
Were you entertained?
I was.
Fuck yes, I
was. You and I were texting pretty much the whole night. My thumbs, my Twitter thumbs and my John McCarthy thumbs were getting some work last night.
It's rough, man. It's rough. It's tough to do.
It's funny. It's when I say Twitter thumbs, there's this little thing about me people don't realize, and it's a little thing I don't think people have ever realized this. I don't tell people until they see it. But I have, when I say my Twitter thumbs, I was just born this way. I don't have a surgery or anything. I have had a surgery on my thumb, but not this one. Look, take a look at this, John.
No, you're intentionally doing that.
No.
Yeah, you got to go with the lines. Look at the lines. Okay.
For audio listeners.
One is absolutely stunted. You need one of those shoes that have the big heel on one of them.
I have a tubby thumb. We call it like a little tubby thumb. It literally is like a little short thumb. See,
okay, hold on though. Put those back up there. It was your right hand that you broke your thumb against Benson.
Yep.
And it's not the stubby one.
It's not the stubby one, yo. It's not. Look at the little tubby thing. It's just, look at.
Dude, you're deformed.
It's the way I was born, man.
People on Spotify right now are so confused.
I know. They have no idea what we're talking about.
What's the 2 thumbs up for?
You guys
Did you guys rate a movie?
You guys got to go over to our YouTube channel. Take a look at it. Oh, man. It's great, man. It's great. So, I don't know. I've always had a hard time like gripping when we did wrisk control, hand fighting. It didn't help at all. So, and the one good thumb that I had, I broke in the Benson fight. So my grip went out the door for that. Yeah, lucky me. I mean, John.
Yeah, but I was able to bring that up. See?
Yeah, yes.
I was able to bring that up.
You did, this guy, man. Giving me some love on the PFL. I was like,
it's the truth.
I was making some food while the fights were going on the PFL. And all of a sudden I heard Josh Thompson. I perked up and I'm like, that was John McCarthy's voice.
Who the hell is talking
what's
about
he saying? Why would you bring me up?
It's a perfect scenario.
Yeah, it was. I mean, even though he only dislocated it, I mean, I actually I did everything.
You broke it.
It was everything. So, but hey, John, this was a huge night for the UFC. It was a fantastic night for the UFC. I thought everything kind of went according to plan. Some of the fights were, the ones that we thought were going to go finish early with the distance, but they were back and forth. They were competitive. There was some good fights, man. I got to be honest. You guys, when we talk gambling, when we talk sports books, I got to be honest. I laid out all my parlays and what I would have went with. Shit, I would have lost everything. I would have lost it all. There was always one that came up. I had to restructure my parlays going into the main event. George, why are you laughing so much, George? George, I would have lost a lot of money had I actually really bet.
That would have been my bonus. So I don't know why I think it's so funny.
Yeah, it's not funny now. I would have done very well.
Podcast Dave, what was your take on the show?
I thought it was good. Like, I don't think it lived up to the hype from.
I don't think it was as good as WrestleMania.
Exactly.
Oh, Jesus Christ,
George. Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead,
but obviously the BMF fight was just like, undeniable. Like one of the best.
Undeniable was, you know what? That's an outstanding term and use of words right there, Dave. Yeah. It was undeniable. It was fucking unbelievable. It's just, we're going to go over it, but Max Holloway fought Ricardo Lamas at UFC. I think it was 199. And I reffed that fight. He won every minute of it. And with 10 seconds left, he fucking points to the center, like, let's throw down. And he does that with Ricardo Lamas. And I was just like, that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen, but I love it. I absolutely loved it, right? And he goes and he does it again in a fight. He lost, one round, if you're going to say it, because of the knockdown. Okay. But he won almost every minute of that fight. Let's be honest. And he goes and fucking against Justin Gaethje, he points to the center, and you look and you go, that's the dumbest thing, but I fucking loved it. Just goddamn, man.
Even doing the presser after was like when we were in that room and we were coming up with that BMF title, he's like, that's the type of thing that we were talking about when we were talking about BMF. So,
that's
true, man.
That's the truth.
When we were talking about the BMF for the females, Dave, you and I on Friday, John, that's what we don't have right now. We don't have a female that will point to the center of the ground and like, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, we haven't quite had that yet. Like, the females are throwing down, they're getting after it, but we don't have that type of personality right now where it's like, no, right now, let's do it. I think that's kind of, we got a lot of pushback.
Jessica Andrade is kind of that person.
She is.
She's kind of that person.
But we saw that a little bit. But I'm saying that it was, I guess it comes down to that. I guess the personality of doing it is not there either. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. We got a lot of pushback on some of that. Like, no, absolutely not. It's like painful to watch females MMA, and I don't know why anybody would want to. No, there's one BMF. It's the male, and I'm like, you guys, come on. But I'd like to see two. I like to see two BMF belts, one for the females, one for the males. Definitely want them separated. I don't want to see the females fighting the males.
Let's call it the BBA. We got the BMF and the BBA.
The bad bitch, motherfucker.
Yeah, baddest bitch alive.
Baddest bitch alive. Okay.
Baddest bitch alive.
That'd be awesome.
We'll call it the Ba.
The Ba. Bah. Oh, I mean, whatever.
I don't know if they'd like that.
No,
I think
probably
it's
overall though, John, let's Dave, can you scroll down to the card? I thought that the Cody fight was a great fight. Go down to number 1, please. Cody was a great. I'm going to do a quick little breakdown, like not breakdown, but a little preview.
Yeah, just little quick thing.
Cody and Divisem fought a great fight. Cody was looking good. I thought it was a great fight. Bobby and Jim, I mean, the first round was awesome. Excuse me. First round was awesome, man. And then Bobby just kind of put the jab around right up there in the face.
Look, the first round was awesome. The second round was phenomenal. If you're a fucking Bobby Green fan, I mean, if you're a Jim Miller fan, I understand why it wasn't a great round for you. But I mean, let's be honest, Bobby Green turned it up and just put on a performance.
Dave's like, okay, John, stop talking about it. I can see the look on Dave's face. He's like, stop. Don't say too much. Don't say too much. Jessica Andrade and Marina, I thought it was awesome, man. The length, the reach of Marina Rodriguez, and then Jessica just being what you're saying, the BMF of the female division, man. Yeah. Great stuff. Moicano, out to impress. Great job. Diego Lopes, another one. Back-to-back great impressive fights for him. Kayla Harrison did not disappoint for all the people.
Come on.
So
everything. Just as quick as that can be. Dave, don't have a heart attack. She won in every category I was concerned with. The weight, she looked fucking phenomenal. The pressure of first fight in the UFC in that big of an event against a former champion, just none of it bothered her. It showed why. Look, if you can win 2 Olympic gold medals, it shows that you can handle pressure. Yeah. And man, I'll tell you what, she did it all and did it with fucking style.
Yeah, she looked phenomenal, man. I gotta fucking eat some crow on that one. She looked great. Aljamain Sterling, I'm going to go into the same thing I said about Aljo and the same thing about Max. The two of them, I'm going to wrap them up together. They carry the weight really well. They carried, I mean, they looked full. They looked good. They didn't look fragile. They didn't look like, I mean, they looked like their legs, their back, their arms, everything filled out, and they looked good, and it showed in their performances. Yuri Prochaska, man, I mean, like, just the wild man, man.
No, just say one word. Samurai. He's a samurai.
You got to stop with that. He is not
crazy.
No,
he's a crazy goddamn samurai.
You know, Bo Nickel. I mean, yeah. I mean, look, we'll talk more about it, but there's a lot to be taught. There's a lot to be said about his placement on the card, all this other stuff. But
look, it's all about. They got to introduce him. They got to get people to put eyes on him and continue to watch him. That's the way to do it.
But you could. Okay, we'll get more into it later. Okay, Armand Tsarukyan, great job, man. Charles Oliveira looking fantastic, and then
we'll talk about that one.
Obviously, Max and Justin kind of feel like stole the show, as I think a lot of people thought they would.
Yep.
Wei Li and Jan, I thought the fight was better than I thought it was going to be.
Way better than I thought it was going to be.
Yep. And then Alex Mejia and Jamal Hill.
I'll do to Jason Herzog.
As Dave likes to say it. Podcast Dave. George Harris. Jamal Hill is the way that Podcast Dave says his name. It's not Jamal Hill. It's Jamal.
Not Jamal. You're not pronouncing that.
I have a tough time with one name, and you listen to John and Josh say any like the other 500 names on the roster. They can't.
The thing is, though, hey, we've got to say all the other 500 names on the roster. Dave doesn't have to, and he has the toughest time with the easiest one on the roster. All right. Look, that's a short little overcap of what we kind of were looking at the fights. Okay, guys, we're done. That's great. Let's wrap it up. Wrapping it up today.
So thanks for tuning in.
This was everything that I thought it would be. I think the $300,000 bonus I thought was going to play a little bit more of a factor in a lot of them really trying to get after it. But ultimately, when you're at the top like they are, they cared more about winning than they cared about the money. And it just goes to show that, look, no matter how much money you throw at them, when people start talking about fighters and fixing fights and throwing fights or not, or giving up, it's not about the money, man. It's about their pride. These guys are really, men and women, they are trying to win. That's it. They threw another $300,000 down, and guess what? Like, they still were like, okay, look, let me get this shot, let me do this. Like, they were really focused on getting that win and walking out of there with the W.
No doubt about it. But it was the whole night. Yeah, like I can pick out the certain fights. We normally do. All right, give me your rating. What 1 to 10? What is it?
What do you mean, for the whole card or for what? We
Yeah,
said
whole
prelims
card.
last night.
Yeah, whole card.
Don't spoil it. Save it till after the fights. You've gone through the fights.
Oh
no,
let's go. I'm gonna go. Okay, look,
gotta do it now,
Dave. I'm gonna
at the end.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a 9.
9.5.
9.5. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a 9. That's not a knock on it. That's not a knock on it at all. I think the fights were fantastic.
No, there were a couple fights that you can look at and go, all right, that one was, but it was when I say that, we'll get into it, but certain fights, they had to be that way for that person to win. And it's like you're saying, they went out there to win.
Yep.
That's what was important. And so totally understandable.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is. They needed. Sorry, I'm pulling up the card on this one over here. Dave's not a good scroller, so I got to do it myself.
I'm waiting for you guys to break down the main event.
Okay. Why? We want to just keep talking this way. All right, let's go.
This is me right there. See, there's the mic in the middle. There's me, my little mini me down there flexing, and this is me flexing up top. The real me, the big me.
Is that the big you?
Yes, the big me.
We want your detailed analysis. We want your detailed breakdown. Your why did this happen to set?
Look,
thank
you very much, Dave. We appreciate it.
I say that again. Right. Say that again, Dave.
Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill taking on the champ in Alex Pereira. Jamal Hill had walked away from the title based upon an Achilles tendon tear. I've had one of those. They suck, but He got through it fast. He came in. You could see that he put on a little bit of size in his chest and everything. So obviously he was working out, while he was rehabbing and stuff. He came in saying that, he had the power. He knew exactly what to do against Alex. And from the very start, it didn't look like he knew what to do with Alex. I'm going to be honest. He looked a little bit confused by and it's not the movement of Alex. It's just the way that he approached things and the way he stood there, and Jamal was looking for places to attack and he wasn't able to see the things and you look at it, his fight with Glover was phenomenal. I mean, great performance, all the output and everything. There's a difference in speed, and that speed makes a difference in when you attack, it's snapping back at you. It's like a rattlesnake, all of a sudden you're sitting there thinking you can just, I'll just, grab a hold of its head. Yeah, try. Mm-hmm. I used to catch rattlesnakes. They're not easy to catch. You got to be pretty, careful, because if you don't, it bites you, and then you got problems. And he got bit.
Have you ever been bit by a rattlesnake?
No, I've never been bit by a rattlesnake. I've had friends bit by rattlesnakes.
Doesn't sound excited at all.
Dude, I'll tell you what. You want to see a nasty wound? Man, it turns nasty. It gets huge and black. It's gross looking, man. Nasty.
Does like fester up?
Oh, fester up. Dude, hold on. If you see a good rattlesnake bite,
that's a baby's
and you
foot
see what
right
it
there.
does, that's nothing right there.
It's a baby's foot right there.
Marv Phillips was a guy I worked out with and stuff. He was a 20-time world record holder in the squat. He was called, Mr. Squat. He was just a
unique name.
He actually tore his arm off when he was a kid, falling out of a tree because the limb hit him in the arm, right? Tore his arm off. That arm ended up being 21 inches, just because they reattached it and everything. But he got bit by a rattlesnake on the freaking wrist when he was trying to clean out his pool stuff. Dude, I'll tell you what, that 21-inch arm went up to about 33. It was ugly. It was ugly. Don't get bit by a rattlesnake. Nasty.
Oof. I used to work in the fields when I was a kid, at the apricot fields, and we would pick apricots, and sometimes they'd be up in the trees. And then also too, when we were down where you cut them, they have big trays, and you sit at the trays and you cut the apricots, pit them, and then you throw them off, and then you do buckets of those. And one day we were all sitting around. All of a sudden, I heard there was a bunch of older people that do it as like a little side hustle during the summer, doing apricots. And there was an older lady that was there, and she was sitting at one of the tables with her family, and they were all working together like our family was on the other side. And all of a sudden, 2 rattlesnakes come slithering in. None of us saw them until they were already like right by her foot. She was just sitting there, and you can't move. It was literally like maybe 2 inches, 3 inches away from her foot. And so they kind of waited for a little bit. They told her not to move. She didn't move. She moved. Finally, it started slithering away, and one of the farm hands or whatever came over and was able to get rid of it with a shovel. But yeah, man, I mean, that was probably the closest I think I'd ever been with one, because we were one table away and it was right there. I've seen them like on the roads and, mountain biking and all that stuff, but they usually just cross the path and they're on their way.
Yep.
But yeah, no desire to get bit by any damn snake. I don't care if it's a damn gardener snake. I'm good, man. I grew up with the snake. My dad, he had bought a boa constrictor when I was young. And by the time I was 9 years old, it was 13 feet. Believe it or not, someone stole it out of our house. Yeah. Crazy. I got family photos with that thing around my neck, just hanging out.
Snakes the whole time growing up, man. I used to catch rattlesnakes because we had a ton up in the fields by us and stuff. And it was like, my mom I'd bring one of those home. She'd be so pissed off to get rid of that damn thing.
That's hilarious. George is having a good time right now, buddy. All right. Look, I thought you saw the levels of the kickboxing. You saw the level of the stand-up talent right there in the first probably 2 minutes. Yeah. And it just came down to the fact that he could judge distance. And it's very difficult, I think.
Control the distance.
That's true, yes.
Not only judge it, he controlled it. And I mean, to the point where Jamal was like, I can't get to him.
I think he was afraid to take that chance too, to try to get to him, because when someone is so relaxed, they're standing in front of you like, go ahead, throw. Like, I'm not, most guys are tense. Most guys have their hands up higher. Most guys, he's got his hands down a little bit and he's just kind of like doing this little, this little cobra kind of like sway back and
Yeah,
forth, right? And
that's
he's
it.
just hanging out. And his kicks are not fast. He's just like, oh, they're so relaxed, and boom. And you're like, oh, that kind of hurt a little bit. No big deal. And then you take another one, you're like, all right, this is starting to have an effect. And
Starting to hurt.
I know the fight wasn't long, but you could see that Jamal Hill was struggling with the relaxation of Alex. He was struggling with the expecting Alex to do more, to press the pace more, or do something that would make him stand out. But he was just so calm, so composed that Jamal didn't know what to do. He never fought somebody like that.
Yep, that's it.
And it's funny because Izzy had came out a while back and goes, people don't realize when he goes up to 205, he's going to be a problem. He's just a bitch to deal with. And it makes sense because they're not used to people being that composed out there, that relaxed. And he looked good. He looked fantastic.
And look, this is nothing against when we went through our breakdown before the fight. I said Jamal Hill has to wrestle if he wants to win this fight. If he does not wrestle, he will not win. Well, there was just there's levels to everything, and everyone thinks, oh, look, I'm good with my stand up, and I'm not saying Jamal's not. He's got power. You know, he's knocked guys out that we've looked at. You know, one shot basically put him away. You know, it's followed up on him, but he's not a guy that holds, you know, 2 titles in a kickboxing organization like Glory, like Pereira did. And there's just those levels, and though when you're up against those levels, little things bring big results quickly, and that was what you saw. And it was like the left hand that hit him, you know, you could see in his eyes as he was going down, he was out. You know, he hit the ground, and you know, he took a couple more and really went out. And I mean, it's just, what more do you ask from a guy who's now he's 9-2, 11 pro fights. You know, you've got to be
2-division champion.
I know. Just amazing. Look, he has cemented himself as, you know, a guy that, what are you going to say? You know, yeah, he's a kickboxer. He's just destroying everybody in MMA. And yeah, the real question is, how will he deal with a really good wrestler?
Dave, pull up the 205-pound rankings, please.
I don't know if there's a guy that's going to be able to take him down. As far as, you know, obviously there's people that can take him down, but, you know, you take a look at that list there of people, Ankalaev would be the guy that you would look at and say, he's got the wrestling to put him down. But Ankalaev doesn't, you know, he doesn't go after wrestling. He goes after stand-up, and he's good there.
Yeah.
But if even him, if he stands with Alex, I don't think he gets the win.
Yeah. I don't think he does either. I'm going to go back into what we talked about during the midweek. Why are people not attaching themselves to Alex Pereira? There's not enough personality. Well, I saw some of that personality after the knockout. This thing,
Like,
I thought it was fantastic.
Well,
we got something out of him finally.
There was some trash talk going on. There was a whole lot of things that were being said, you know. I mean, look, that's building the fight.
Yeah.
I don't that type of trash talk. I had no problem with anything, you know, Jamal said. You know, that's all part of the fight. He's not attacking, you know, he's attacking the fighter and what he does in the cage. Great. Do it. That's what it's for. But that little response of, oh, that's also, yeah, now you know.
Yeah.
And
when I'm looking at these rankings, though, you got Rakic, who just lost to Yuri. Excuse me. But then you get down in there. I mean, there's really no one else for him to kind of fight in that position. I mean, you've got Krylov, you've got Roundtree. But I mean, you get into Ozdemir, Smith.
Khalil's a complete stand-up guy.
Yeah.
He's not a wrestler.
Yep, exactly.
You know?
I mean, but he is physically very, very strong.
Oh, he is.
You know?
But his, you know, I take a look at, you know, Khalil, and I mean, he's become fantastic as far as being able to control fights and keep them on the feet. And that's where Alex wants it.
Yeah.
He wants it on the feet. And so, yeah, I think Khalil's got power. He could definitely knock, you know, at anybody in the light heavyweights out. But again, there's levels, and Khalil's never reached those same levels in the kickboxing world that Alex has, which tells you just they had the stupid punch thing, and it's like as far as the meter that measures it. He beat Francis Ngannou's power.
Well, I mean, John, they're just lucky that I haven't done it yet. I mean, like, if you like,
is that what it is? Yeah, because you were always known for heavy hands.
I mean, if I throw my
short
hips behind
thumbs,
it,
short thumbs, and heavy
hands. That's not all that's short, buddy.
I know, dude. I've seen.
The fact that John brags about seeing, the hammer.
I know. The fact that you just walked into your studio, because that was when you had your gym.
It was good.
You just walked in there, the cameras are on and stuff, and I'm just sitting there waiting to do a podcast. And I turn my head and go, Josh, the cameras are on.
Josh, the cameras are on.
Josh, the cameras are on. Josh, I'm blind.
The worst part is
I'm blind, Josh.
He just come off the mats as well, so he's like stinky, sweaty.
Sweaty. Well, when you work out, it kind of gets a little shriveled up. Luckily I'm a grower.
It's like cold water.
Yeah, it's like cold water. I mean, I'm a grower though, so it's kind of it always looks like that.
Okay.
Oh, it was good. It was like, and then I hear this voice. I'm like, what's that voice? I can hear John through the headset. I'm like, oh shit, what's going? I looked at the cameras and John's like, oh yeah, baby, oh yeah, that's right, seen it all.
I've got stories to tell now.
Oh man, good times in the old studio. I look at this, but let's not forget, there's not going to take a world-class wrestler to get him down. It's going to take a high school to maybe a beginner college style wrestler, somebody of that level. We're not going to need a world-class. Now he's been working with Glover. His grappling, everyone keeps telling me that his grappling is getting way better.
Yep.
But the grappling game does not stop your takedowns. So him being able to get controlled from the bottom, will make a difference. If he's not fighting a grappler, then he's not really going to be concerned about the submissions. I mean, I think out of everybody in that top 15, the only guy that I really see beating him is Ankalaev. And that's if he wrestles a little bit.
That's if he fights a smart fight.
If he fights, that's the other thing. Like, do you want to be champion or do you want to just, do you want to be stubborn? I think some of these fighters, they want to be stubborn. Like, I can stand with him. He doesn't look good. Well, I mean, he's fought Izzy several times. He's beaten Izzy how many times?
Yeah.
And Izzy's made it very clear. Like, he is a pain to deal with.
How is it? I mean, come on, Josh. How is it you can say you watch him go, I don't think he's that good in the stand-up? I mean,
I don't know, man.
Where in the world would you get that through your head? And then if you have a coach who's going to break down tape for you, he's going to sit, hey, first off, he is that good. And this is what he does really well. And this is what we're going to have to deal with. I mean, it's like, no, he's a monster when it comes to the stand-up.
I agree. All right, hey, let's roll into the co-main event.
I'll tell you what. Okay, here's the thing. They were saying Zhang Weili. I know, but even with the name up on the screen, it's Zhang, which they don't put the first name, so that's her last name. So why is it not Weili Zhang?
It's a Chinese thing, John. Just move on from it.
Yeah, what they do.
No, Dave, I need you to explain this.
Because the Chinese use their last name first.
Okay.
That's why. Yep.
Okay. So Weili Zhang taking on Zhao Ninyang.
Can I explain that quick enough and easy enough for you? I mean, I got a little experience with this, so.
Weili against Yan.
Yeah.
Look, this was one of the fights that was on the card that I was like, yeah, I, to be honest, really care less about. Weili was a big time favorite in it. And
I think she closing the odds at minus 555.
Something like that. Yeah. 545. It was a really good fight.
It was.
And man, I'll tell you what, Yan showed she is just mentally tough. She can't be choked out, I guess. So.
Oh no! She was out.
Was she out?
Let's talk about your boy, okay, Jason Herzog.
All right, and this is what I have to say: is I've had this kind of situation happen, and so I understand, where you can be with it.
Did you stop the fight, John? That's what everybody wants to know. Did you stop the fight?
Yes, because Carlos Newton was out, but Matt Hughes was in a position where he was almost out.
Yeah.
And I could see, based upon Matt, I pushed him. He caught himself, holds his position, and he's blinking. So I know he's right there, but he's not out. And so the only thing I can say with this is if she was out, the fight should have been over. But Jason Herzog knows, submission. Jason Herzog is a phenomenal referee, and he saw something that said, no, I'm not going to say she's out. And he let the fight go on. And I got to give it to him. And, right call as far as, Jan showing that, no, I was fine. It's different when it comes to a knockout and a choke as far as things. But if the person goes out at any time, you say, no, they're out, the fight is over.
Yes. I thought that she was out. The thing that
but you texted me, let her go.
Let her go. The reason why I said let her go is because she was out, but because by the time Weili was able to get out from underneath her from the back choke, because her leg was stuck, because she was laying on it. Jan was laying on it.
Jan was on.
By the time Weili was able to get out, she had came to.
Doesn't matter. If that is a fact,
then
the fight should have been over.
Okay, and then the second thing, I have this question as well. I'm not trying to throw Herzog in. I love Herzog. He's him and one other guy and Beltran are probably my two favorite referees. But this is at the moment she needed to get up, he grabbed her by the arm a little bit and helped her up.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, you don't help him up.
And and I don't know, because she kind of put her arm like this, and he touched her behind the tricep. Now I don't know how much he lifted because I can't tell, but he had, and I know that I've seen referees before go, get up, get up, and that back away, put your hands up, don't touch them, don't let their corners touch them because they can't help them either, right?
That's
right. I know some rules after doing this podcast with you for 6 years.
You're doing all right, baby. I'm getting impressed here.
So it was that feeling of like, and then I think just out of instinct, him being a good guy was like, okay, come on, let's go. Hurry up, get to your corner. And he's like, oh, she's good. She's good. And I was like, okay, there's something to take a look at, and like,
there was also, then you had Joe Rogan and Daniel Cormier saying, he's giving her smelling salts. He gave her smelling salts. And I'm like, no, he did not.
That was not Joe. That was my boy.
That's your boy. Like, and what Rudy did is you take your finger, you stick it on that area right under the nose, and you press hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's usually what you do with someone that's been stung by a punch. Okay. It tends to make all those nerve endings, and the brain starts to focus in on it, and they come back. And
do you push on that little cleft area there?
Yes,
or do you push up
really
into
hard.
The nose?
Both in and up, so it's painful.
You got George Harris over here.
Yeah, George Harris is thinking not in the nose.
Yeah, pick us a winner, buddy. Pick us a winner.
But yeah, it was it's one of those. I'm going with Jason saying, hey, he saw something that we couldn't see, from the video and the TV view. And that's why the fight went on. So I'm going to say he was right. If she was out, then it's wrong. But
go ahead.
I'm going with Jason.
Yeah, I can't play this because I can't play this for YouTube. But I'm going to just let you guys kind of review. Here we go. So let me just rewind that real quick and see what you guys think.
Carla.
Oh, that's the wrong one. Yeah, it's impossible to find. Like I can't find.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I was like, what fight are you?
I was going to say that's a choke that worked because she tapped.
No, but to go back to your Carlos Newton fight with Matt Hughes, the difference for me, I believe in that, and maybe you can say what you saw because you were in there, was Carlos was knocked out by a slam. Yeah. That's different than still being able to come to a little bit with, you can see when you're getting choked, John, I'm sure you know this.
Oh yeah!
As you're getting choked, the world's closing in.
And then you see that you got all the little fireflies.
Yeah, all these little things are going on, and you start to see it close in, and then all of a sudden there's no spots. It's like just a little tiny white hole that you can see, and that's it. And then let go. It's like everything starts to kind of come back, but it's a haze.
Yep.
And I feel like that's exactly where she was at. But with the Carlos Newton fight, he was knocked out, and that's more of, to me, like that's a fighter safety. You shouldn't be getting knocked out multiple times in a fight. So that fight being stopped, I understood. In this fight, Going to sleep, I don't know. Maybe it's because we don't feel like there's any damage, but I'm sure there is when you're cutting the blood off to your head.
No, what's funny is I was just watching, they were doing a study on BJJ and it chokes, both rear naked chokes, triangle chokes, arm triangle choke, doing it. And they had the, person with their brain got wires all over it and everything. They're getting choked. And it actually said, it actually stimulates the brain. It's like it's good for it. And I was like, that's the last thing. I swear to God.
I mean,
so
do mushrooms though, but let's not try and overdo it.
Okay, hold on. But let's be honest. You've been choked out. I've been choked out. I used to, when I used to teach, especially like ringside physicians, and I would always go and do the talk at their they have the annual meeting that they have and stuff, and I would I'd bring a guy and I'd say, hey, he's going to choke me out, and I want you guys to see, this is what it does, and they're all like, no, don't do that, right? And I go, look, I said, I would joke, I would sit there, I said, look, I've been choked out 100 times. I said, and nothing's happened. And I twitch my head and I go, see, it's like, when you're not used to it, that when you get choked out and you come back, there is nothing as far as pain or it's almost a euphoric feeling for a second. It's like you feel like, hey, I feel pretty good. Yeah. What's going on, guys? Because all of a sudden you're focusing and you realize, oh, I went out. And it's, I don't have the pure statistics on it, but I actually was watching this thing and they were saying that it's actually a stimulation for the brain when you're getting choked. It's weird, because the brain shuts itself off. That's why you go unconscious. It does it. Your body purposely does that to protect yourself.
It makes sense.
Protect itself.
It makes sense. A little backstory. One of these, I was training with Frank Shamrock when I first came over to AKA. And I was rolling with him, and he used to be one of those guys that he would choke you, and as you started to go to sleep, he would let it go a little bit, and then he'd choke you again. And I think I'll give him some credit here, even though him and I have had some beef in the past, but I'll give him some credit. It actually helped me learn to relax because I used to like panic in certain. I would let it go, but then as I realized I was going out, I would start to panic, like, and then start tapping. He's like, no, we're not tapping here. Like nothing happens. You're just going to go to sleep. I'm going to wake you up. And
that's it,
and that was it. So that helped me learn to relax in those situations and learn that you could fight these things off until the bitter end. He's like, and his take on it was, if you have time to tap, you have time to keep fighting it off. Because that little tiny wiggle movement to the left, that little tiny turn your back to flat to the mat, or just a little bit where you can grab the 2 fingers or 3 fingers and pull it off the head, that makes a huge difference in matter of a second. Sure. You could be able to get out. And so I've got to give him some credit, man. He made it so much easier for me throughout my career being in so many choking positions because, man, he was a dick about it. Like he was a dick about it.
You got to look and you go, okay, I know how he came up. I know what they did to him. And so it's, it's just one of those, I got abused, I'm going to abuse you. It's not the right way to do it, but that is what happened.
This is one of the most famous stories in the gym. Bob Cook was training with Frank Shamrock, and we were all the fighters were against the wall. We were all getting ready. Frank was getting ready for, I think it was Elvis Sinisek at the time. And him and Bob Cook were doing the grappling, pummeling against the wall like the rest of us fighters. Koshik was there, myself, Kane. I think Kane had just came into the gym. But there was, there was fighters all against the wall. Swick was there. Him and Bob are grappling, and I'm training right next to them. And they're grappling, and then all of a sudden, Frank gets him in the guillotine, has him press against the wall, da-da-da-da-da. And Bob goes out. He's out cold. And Javier's off to the corner watching the whole thing happen. And I'm like, not really paying attention. I'm like, oh, that looks tight. And I'm still grappling with my, it looks tight.
Wow.
And then I look over.
It looks tight. It is tight.
It is tight. And then I look over and I see that Bob is against, Frank lets go of the head and Bob's leaning up against the wall. And Frank looks around and Bob's out cold. And so Frakes just starts grappling with him like as if he's not awake, like as if he's weakened at Bernie's, and just starts training with him. And then Bob wakes up mid-thing, and Bob doesn't miss a stride. He just goes back to pummeling. And about 2 or 3 seconds goes by, and he goes, "Oh, you choked me out, huh?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Get the fuck off of me." It was one of those jokes at the time, but it was one of those moments that you just had to kind of see. And Javier starts laughing from like across the room, cracking up. He saw the whole thing happen. It was hilarious. Just, man, we had some good times back then. We had Ryan Bowe.
We were choking people unconscious and then dancing with them.
Was great.
It was a great time.
Like, it was a full Weekend at Bernie's type thing, man. It was great. We had Ryan Bowe, Charles Taylor, Kelly Delonte, myself. Like, we had a lot of good guys when they first, that little era there. Mike Swick. There was some good fighters out of there in the beginning. Brian Johnson was still, there. BJ Penn was there. Charuto, he was there.
Charuto?
Yeah, Niza, I think was his name. I can't remember his first name. Maybe that was his whole name. I don't know. I never recall. Good fights. Good fighters, though, there. All right, let's go ahead and go right into Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. There's not much to say. Not much to say, John.
Come on.
Except let me toot your horn for you, my man.
All right.
You were right.
Thank you.
It's going to be very rare that I say this because you're almost always wrong. But I wanted to throw this out here to everyone. John was trying to convince me that Max was going to have – I thought he'd have the speed, but I didn't think Max would have the ability to really hurt Justin Gaethje. And I said this when we were doing like kind of a preview through the show, is that him and Aljamain Sterling, they put the weight on and they look good. When I go back to when Max fought Dustin – he didn't have that chance, didn't have that opportunity, and he looked like he couldn't handle the power. He looked like he couldn't handle the physical size of Dustin Poirier.
But he put on wasted weight. It wasn't good weight.
And this, you could tell in the legs, the ass, his back, his arms, everything filled out beautifully. The same goes for Aljo. They look like they belong in that weight class.
Dude, Aljo looked really good.
Well, Aljo's got a big ass. Max got a flat ass. And so, but Max's legs, his quads and his hamstrings and his calves, they filled out. They're normally, it looks like he's got skinny legs, like really skinny legs. No, he looked filled out in this fight. He looked good. The energy was there. I was concerned about having him having the same type of output. But then I got to remember, he doesn't need to have the same amount of output when you're going up in weight because the fighters normally up above you aren't fighting at a pace that you would fight at a lower weight. Even though lightweights fight at a good pace, he didn't need to. Justin fought a very conservative fight in the first 2 rounds, trying to figure out what Max was. But by then, the nose break, the eye pokes, how much of that do you have played a factor in that the rest of the fight?
Obviously, the nose break played a factor in the fact that you could see multiple times throughout the fight. You saw Justin get hit and turn away. That's what you're doing when you get hit in a broken nose. It sucks. It's a painful thing, and you get like a flash that when it happens and stuff. So that's understandable. Obviously the eye pokes are unfortunate, and you don't ever want to have that. But Justin's not going to make an excuse off of those. I'm not going to make an excuse for him. Obviously, it's something you'd rather not have happen. But he handled it like the pro that he was. He went back out. I don't think in the end that was the difference maker in this. Look, at the difference maker was what I thought was going to be the difference in this fight. Justin Gaethje is a good stand-up fighter. He's a brawler. And when it comes to being a technician and being able to find those against another good stand-up fighter, you've got to find those moments and those openings that don't come that often. And it's, people don't understand. You'll know what I'm talking about. When you're in a stand-up fight and, you have someone that's moving on you, that every time that they move, it's like taking you and putting you off center. And that's what they're trying to do. And you're having to adjust, and you're adjusting, and you're adjusting. And nothing is ever like, hey, we're standing here. We're doing what they did in the last 10 seconds, just planting my feet and throwing. Everything is about trying to gauge distance and when I can attack them and be in that position where I'm not off center of them, so I'm going to miss. And Justin had nothing but problems the entire fight with Max putting him in those positions. And I know it's hard for people to see, but that was what I thought was going to end up. Max Holloway is a technician on the feet. He doesn't just try to hit you with big bombs, which is what Justin normally is. He hits you with a really hard low leg kick. He did that to Max continuously throughout the fight. He was able to take it, but he hits you with that, and he hits you with a couple of different combinations that he's really good with. But he does tend to duck his head, and I texted you this, throughout. I said, he's got to stop ducking his head. He's got a habit of ducking his head down, and Max caught him several times, and that's even when he hit him with the spinning back kick, that was meant for the body, and it hit him in the nose based upon him ducking his head down. And so you look and you go, it's just style. This is why we say styles make fights. And I just looked at Max as the guy. I looked at everybody that gave Justin problems in fights, and I thought, Max is that guy that's going to give him a problem. He's just in that position. I didn't see him knocking him out like that. But, and you got to look and you say, this is what makes Max Holloway who he is he did that same thing against Ricardo Lamas at UFC 199, and 10 seconds left, had won every second of the fight. 10 seconds, points to the center and just starts going. And Joe Rogan talks about it all the time and I'm being honest, I looked at it and I said, at the time it was one of those, that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen. And I fucking love it.
Yeah.
God damn, is that awesome? Okay. Because you're willing to do that. That is so God, I will watch you forever, and it is what it is when you look and you go, he did it again. Now he caught him with it. Dude, face down, ass up. It's a position, you never want to be. Man, he was out, standing up, and just crumpled. But that's what makes Max Holloway what he is. That's why I said, look, I don't care if he wins or loses. The dude he's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of them are bad as hell. I mean,
oh my God, yeah.
I was watching the fight. Justin looked like he was trying to fight his new way, staying composed, letting the fight develop. The leg kicks were getting started. Where I think that when the fight started to get away from him, there was no switching to plan B. I think it should have been more of what happened in the last 10 seconds if he needed to get that fight going, because it wasn't working for him. Staying composed on the outside, the jab was on point for Max. Max was switching his stance enough to keep Justin guessing. The spinning back kicks to the body were throwing him off too, not knowing how to catch him. And there's it seemed like every opportunity that Max was able to hit him with something and throw him off, they were landing right at the right moments. When Justin was getting a little bit of momentum, he got hit with something like, made me a little wobbly. It kind of threw me off balance. The
counters just were killing him. And he would start to throw and he would get countered and hit with good, clean shots. And you go, that's a sumbitch, because that makes you hesitant to go back and do it again. Because I got to figure out how to get past that.
Yep.
He wasn't able to.
No, I agree. But now I guess we move on. When we move on to this fight, where does Max go from here? I think he should go back down to 45, but he looks phenomenal at 55.
Wherever he wants.
Okay, let's talk about that. You say he goes wherever he wants. I say he goes right back down and get an automatic title shot. Versus if he stays there, he's got to fight either Arman or he's got to fight Islam. Mm-hmm. Two guys that will wrestle him to death.
Yes, I agree with you.
Not stylistically the matchup that we would probably want to see him fight. I think the physical sides of Islam, strength. I know Max looks good. He looked big at this weight. He looked filled out. And in a little bit more time to get ready for that fight, he'll probably even fill out a little bit more, be able to lift a little bit more, put a little bit more muscle on. He looked great. I'm not saying anything else but that he looked phenomenal at the weight class. But there was no fear of Justin taking him down at all. Arman Tsarukyan can wrestle you to death, and he showed last night he's got great top pressure, and the best jiu-jitsu guy in the sport has the most submissions. Charles Oliveira wasn't able to get him. So Max Holloway, not going to be able to get him.
No.
So that being said, between Islam and Arman, those are the two guys that are the most dangerous in that weight class, I think, right now. I think Max go down to 45. try to get
Topuria.
that title back and fight
Yeah.
Topuria in Spain in the biggest arena there is. Let's see. I mean, I'm sorry, but like if I'm looking for big time money fights, if I'm the UFC, I'm looking to make a star out of someone. We need Topuria to be more of a star. There's a lot of backing from his country and soccer and football. They've got it right now.
Yeah.
Let's not let it go away.
They have a hero.
They have one. Let's go. Let's make that fight happen. Let's collect the checks. Let's go to the bank and cash them. Okay, let's do this. And I think that's the perfect fight. Now, it would suck because you see him do so well at 55. He spent time putting the weight on. Now he's got to take that weight off. Yeah. But I don't see a title for him in that weight class right now with Arman and with Islam, both phenomenal wrestlers. And they're both not bad on the feet, but they would wrestle him. They would take him down. They would control him, try to control him, and dominate that top position. I think they'd have success doing it.
Yeah, I agree with you. If you're going to take a look at it and say, what's the fight for Max at this point? Like I said, he can go anywhere. Right now he's in a position he can say, I want to stay here, and they're going to say, great, boom, and they're going to put him in a big time fight. Or he can say, I want to go back down and take that title back from Topuria. Mm-hmm. They're going to do that too. Yeah. So he's in a position where he can do whatever he wants. I personally believe the same as you. I think the Topuria fight is just a better fight for him. Mm-hmm. If you're going to look at, Topuria can wrestle, so it's not like he won't do it, but his stand-up is just outstanding also. And it would be just a great fight. You could put that thing on, man. Put it on in Madrid or Barcelona in a big stadium. Ooh, hello.
We'll scroll down a little bit there, Dave, on the light and the rankings. Yeah, number 1 and number 2 are gone now. Charles is out. Yeah. No, he's not number 1 anymore. Justin Gaethje is out. He's not number 2. You got Dustin fighting for the title next. Tsarukyan will probably be right after that.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got your next 2 opponents lined up. But this is John. I'm going to go into this. I'm gonna go put my tin cap on here, and I'm gonna go right into it.
It's a tin cap or tin foil cap,
whatever. Probably a little bit of both.
Okay.
Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor, the winner of that could potentially fight after Arman Tsarukyan.
Oh yeah,
could fight for the title because you've got the only one that's in the mix there is Gamrot. And who do you think they're gonna put ahead? If Conor wins or Chandler wins.
If Conor wins, they'll put Gamrot in there ahead of Conor. Come on.
This guy got the jokes this morning.
It's a simple calculation. And I like Gamrot. He's a tough, fighter and stuff. Obviously Conor's going to get that.
Even if Chandler wins.
I'm not too sure if Chandler will pass him. I'm not too sure. If it was a exciting fight, exciting win by Chandler. Chandler knocks him out like he knocked Tony Ferguson out. Yeah, he would get it. Mm-hmm. But
I mean, there's a lot to be talked about. You've got Arman waiting in the wings after the Dustin fight, which apparently was signed last night or the day before. Yeah. It was actually signed on Tuesday last week, but they're just releasing it this week. Yeah. And so that's going to be a good one, man. That's going to be a good one. Pumped for it. I'm excited. So that fight, Dave always got something to say when we're talking about Conor McGregor. What do you got for us there?
I think you're right. He'll get a title fight if he beats Chandler.
You want to give me the yawn?
Stretching it out.
Stretching it out.
Stretching it out. You got off the couch. I saw that you got off the couch to be able to make that statement.
Casual little input,
Yeah, you've got Dustin in. What is it? Did it give it a date yet?
Yeah.
Islam and Dustin are June 1, and Conor and Chandler are June 29th. But we will talk about those fights.
Yeah, we will talk about those fights later, but I'm simply saying that you've got Dave pointing at the camera. He's like saying, don't talk about it right now. Let's get into it a little bit later. Look, that makes for a perfect combination. You've got the ability for that fight to happen June 29th. You got Arman Tsarukyan right after that fight, probably. Islam said he wants to fight 3 times this year before Ramadan next year, maybe even 4. He wants to be active. And I mean, he's brought up some good points, Islam has. I fought 7 times since 2022 or 2021 or something like that, the end of 2021. That's quite a few fights.
Yeah, but okay.
2022.
Absolutely right. But here was a guy that was always complaining he couldn't get fights.
Yeah, but it's funny how it changes when you got the title.
Oh yeah, of course. And so it's like, all right, you can fight as much as you want as long as you're healthy. they'll put you in there because they want those title fights.
Well, do you remember back, like, there was a big reason RDA shunned Islam, and then now Islam got the title. He's like, yeah, I want that fight. And Islam's like, nah, buddy, go to the back of the bus. Go to the back of the line. And that's the problem with guys that end up getting to the title and winning it. They're like, nah, man, you guys all ducked me. I remember you. I remember when they offered you the fight. I remember when they said, like, hey, you were on the internet going, no, why would I fight down? Why would I do that? Like, you're not this and you're that. And
True.
You know, I understand it, but if you know that these people their trajectory is to hit up to the title, you might want to think about taking that fight because they can give you the shot at the end. All right, let's go ahead and get into the next one. Charles Oliveira versus Arman Tsarukyan.
Man, this is a good fight. You know, Tsarukyan, that first round, that freaking guillotine. You know, you talk about things, Josh, you know, when Charles jumped to that, he thought he had the arm with his leg, and he was going to be able to control that arm, and it would have been over. It would have been over because that arm would have been trapped, you know, with the leg. There's no way Tsarukyan's going to get himself out of there. He doesn't have the ability to move enough. But he got his arm past the leg. You know, Charles jumps to it. It was on tight, and you could see, you know, and man, that you talk about a painful, you know, amount of time that you're, you know, getting choked in that, and it's pain on your trachea is getting, you know, crushed back into your damn vertebrae. It's just a horrible feeling. He gets through that. Charles wins the first round. He comes back in that second round. He put a beating on him. He came out there and he showed exactly what you're talking about. His ground game is dominating as far as position and his ability to create a pressure, because you get a lot of people that they'll lay on you and they'll put a flat, you know, it's almost like it covers a lot of area. And then you'll have that guy that pinpoints that pressure and it feels like a spike is being driven through you where you just can't move. And he did a great job of making Charles was doing, you know, good things, trying to get, you know, change the angle, couldn't change the angle, couldn't move. His hips got crushed, you know, and then comes out into the third. Arman was winning it, but I'll tell you what, that could have been called for Charles Oliveira. One judge did, you know, and that you look at it and go, okay, he was in a darce, okay, and he's face down. He's trying to relax and just, you know, let the time go. But could it have ended up stopping him in that fight? We'll never know based upon the time. But man, I'll tell you what, you just sitting there, you almost let that fight slip away.
No, but Charles did let it slip away by just sitting there. Yeah. He should have tried to be attacking the neck, or not the neck, but the leg. He was on the choke.
Pull it in.
All he had to do was try to switch his hips a little bit to turn and gather the leg. And then that would have made it more of a threat. It would have made it, in the judge's eyes, would have been more of a threat of finishing that submission. I didn't see a real threat in that position of finishing it from there. I mean, when you look at how Arman's arm was and the positioning of it all, that's why
he's trying to relax underneath and stuff. And
he is. But Charles wasn't trying.
But both of them.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. Both of them. I understand Arman just kind of sitting there, like, I'm okay, I'm safe. You know, I can handle this pressure. And you look at Charles and Charles, I want him to start to turn that angle on it, get a hold of it. Both of them in that situation, the fight was all about that last 15 seconds. It was all about that fight. That was where it was at. Yeah,
but Charles spent more of the first half of that round on the bottom, taking damage, taking some shots, not fighting any shots, just control some shots. Had he tried to gather that leg, he let that fight slip away. Had he tried to gather that leg, it would have made, in the judge's eyes, that's more of a finishing position. If there was a little bit more of a threat, I would have probably given it to Charles. That's what my take on it was.
But this is my whole point is, take a look. That's a split decision. Mm-hmm. One judge gave it enough and said, you were in enough trouble to where I'm saying that's the thing that I'm going to give the round off of, where the other two said, no, it wasn't enough for me to give the round to you based upon everything that happened in it. But it was a close fight.
Well, that's why those judges need to train jiu-jitsu so they understand how close that
they all train jiu-jitsu.
How that choke was. How close was that choke? It wasn't that close. I mean, like I said, had he switched the hips and tried to gather the leg, I probably would have given him the round. I really would have. But when I saw him sticking his tongue out to the crowd,
Yeah, I know. That was the same thing. Why are you showboating right now? You don't have it.
yeah, you don't have it. You don't have anything. You're just sitting there hanging out, and that actually kind of bothered me even more. Look, I love Charles. I think he's a fantastic fighter. What I did see though was that his output, his pressure, all those things kind of slipped away going into the third round. I mean, he finished that second round with the armbar triangle, at the very end. That was on tighter than the choke was.
Yeah. But it was only a second.
It was only like 2 seconds. Yeah, it was like a small amount of time. Yeah. No, but I'm saying
he caught it. He caught it, but he caught it right at there's a second. Boom,
yeah.
And so it was off. But yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
But look, I thought that some of the fights that lived up to the potential, the Arman and Oliveira fight lived up to the potential. Gaethje and Max lived up to the potential.
No, surpassed it.
It did. I mean, only here would we be saying that if it didn't end the way it did?
No.
Okay.
But it's that last 10 seconds when Max Holloway goes right here, right now, and Justin comes, and they go, and then you have that ending, one of the greatest knockout endings ever, based upon just the way that 4:59 of the fifth round. Come on.
I can't say anything other than the fact that is what you're looking for from your BMFL title.
That is exactly.
That's what you're looking for. You're looking like, let's get after it. Let's get down. Doesn't matter if I'm up on the cards. Let's go. I mean, Max made me eat crow, man. You got Max made me eat crow. I mean, Kayla Harrison made me eat some crow. I mean, I got to stand on my words. I thought for sure that Max I thought Kayla was going to have a hard time with the weight cut and the pushing. She looked phenomenal.
So did I.
All right, let's go. Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage. I actually was expecting Bo to be a little bit more dominant, even though he did dominate, even though he did get the submission, all of these things. He just looked a little uneasy out there for a couple times. Not just for a couple times. He looked a little uneasy out there from the jump, John.
Okay, why?
Because Cody was more confident. Cody's more confident than anyone that Bo's ever fought. And that kind of threw Bo Nickel off.
I think the aggressiveness by Cody in the beginning, the jump knee and things like that kind of made Bo like, what the hell, dude? But it's also, dude, he had 5 pro fights. Okay? And 2 of the, you take a look at 2 of those were in the freaking Apex against, Dana White Contender Series, things that lasted. He's got how much time inside a cage?
Yeah.
And you're at that show with all those people and all those, man. Yes, I know he did the NC2As and things like that, and he's wrestled all over. No, nothing prepares you for that pressure that is going to be on you, because it's a different kind of pressure. And so he's so young as far as his fight career. He's 28 years of age, I want to say. So it's not like he's a super young, guy, 20 years of age, but 28. But the amount of fights that he's had, I can't blame him for, being a little bit like, whew, okay, little pitter patters, the butterflies are there, and trying to slow everything down. Because that's really what I saw, is he was slowing things down when he got on top of Cody. He was looking for things, but that's where the difference is. When you're there, you're not looking for things, you're going after things. And that's just time. It's just time. Like, he's going to be a menace in this division. Okay? 185-pound division, no one's going to be able to out-wrestle him. Okay? And as soon as he gets confident in his stand-up, where he goes, hey, I can be on my feet, and people can throw flying knees, and I'm not going to worry about this stuff. And he gets to that point. Look out. There's the only guy in this division, if you're going to sit there, Khamzat, can he wrestle with him for a little bit?
Khamzat posted a picture of his takedown. He goes, shit wrestling.
Well, I think Bo has said the same thing about Khamzat, so we'll find out eventually.
Yep.
But it's a matter of, he's the one guy in that division that I look and say, all right, if you're going to look for someone that can wrestle with him, there's one guy, Khamzat. And I think that Bo Nichols probably his wrestling's better than Khamzat, but we'll find out. But I mean, everybody else, man, it's a problem. He called out with Anthony Hernandez.
Ooh.
That, I look and I go, well, people sit there and say, well, that's a good call out. Not really, in my opinion, because, you live off of your wrestling. You have, your stand-up that you're working on. Anthony's stand-up is not bad, and his submission game is damn good. And so you're going to be putting him in the place where he's pretty goddamn good. Right now, I don't know if that's the smartest call out for him, but
I don't think it is. The reason why I don't think it is because the relaxation Anthony Hernandez has.
Yeah,
he can take shots. He can deliver shots.
Fluffy can fight.
He understands when he's in trouble that the fight's not over, and he can lose rounds 1 and 2 and still end up getting you submitted in the third. He understands that the fight's not over until the bitter end. And so dealing with someone like that is dangerous because you don't know what you don't know until you know kind of situation. When you get in there and realize, oh man, this guy's not going away like all the other guys. I mean, wait, he just took my shot. Oh wait, like he can fight out of arm triangles. Like these guys, that level of wrestling that you have is great, but it's not the same as the MMA wrestling. And so everyone can hit the double leg and the lift and the scoop, but can you hold them down? And it doesn't matter what level of wrestling you are. Can you do the MMA wrestling version to keep them down when they get their back to the fence? What do you do from there? There's so many questions that still need to be answered. And can he do it when he realizes, oh man, we're in the second round and this guy's not going away. Oh, he took all my shots. Oh, he's not giving me his back. What do I do? And Anthony Fluffy's going to be that guy who's good everywhere, good enough to really challenge you and test you and push you to your next limit.
Even in this one, this was a good step for Bo in the fact this is a guy that's never had his corner come into the cage and sit in front of him,
True.
And give him information. All those, he got that in this. So at least now it's another step. It's another way of looking, say, okay, you're progressing in the fight world as far as now you've had this occur. You know what this is like. You've got this feeling down. Again, look, he's going to be good. And the UFC, they're doing a great job with placement of him and the personnel that they're putting against him. They're not trying to get him beat. They're looking at saying, okay, how do we build this guy, market this guy who has only got 5 fights and, wants to fight up, but we need to slow it down and make sure that he's ready to fight up because he's going to look really good when he's 12-0. Mm-hmm. Compared to being just 6-0 right now. So I think they're doing a great job with it.
Yeah.
Very, very similar to Sean O'Malley.
I mean, I could see potentially maybe his next fight being a Chris Curtis fight, someone who's got the best takedown defense in the game at 185 pounds. I mean, I could see that, but then that's also dangerous. Fluffy is not probably physically strong, but he's definitely dangerous in all areas. I don't think Paul Craig's standing at 85. From what I heard, he's going back up to 205. Barhalo is dangerous. Gave a little cry. Barhalo is someone that he's good. He's good all the way around. So
he's dangerous.
Yeah, he's dangerous. He's cautioned to the wind. Something could come up the middle, flying knee, big shots, big punches, athletically, and he looks physically strong. Don't know if he is. Jack Hermanson coming off of a good win, right? Who did he just beat?
Yep.
Jack
Hermanson just beat Pfeiffer.
That's right. So there's guys that are in there. I mean, Bo, I think, needs a couple more fights before we start talking about top 15. But calling out Fluffy, look, once you get there, you're still going backwards, man.
Yeah, that's it.
Number 12, you want to keep going forward. I mean, it's not going to get easier. These guys are all going to be 2 and 3 level wrestlers. They're going to be able to stuff your first one. Cody Brundage was able to stop one of the first ones he did. And then he was able to get away, flung him off of him one time. I mean, he's done some things. So these other guys, when they get down lower in the rankings, they're going to be a little bit harder to get in on. They're going to be a little bit better with judging distance, and their stand-up's going to come out a little bit cleaner and crisper than anyone you fought. Let me ask you, do you think they should have possibly have flipped Diego Lopez and Bo Nickel?
Oh, yeah. There was multiples as far as, people that were on this card that you looked and you said,
no.
Okay.
I'm talking let's build stars. And I mean, Diego Lopez right now, he's got something, man. He's got it.
Oh, dude. Yeah, absolutely. From the haircut to the way he fights and everything. But you got to figure Diego Lopez was brought in his first fight. You remember who he fought?
I don't.
Evolov.
Oh, that's right.
He came in last second as a replacement. He fights Evolov, had a great performance in the beginning, and then he ends up losing that fight. So, yeah, he's come now off of that loss. He's got 3 wins, and he looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Bo Nickel's undefeated.
Well, he's got 3 finishes.
He's an NC2A champion. There's so much there to market, and there's a lot to market with Diego Lopez. He's gonna be a stud in the featherweight division. He's gonna create some problems, and can't wait to see it. But I understand why the UFC picked Bo Nickel to be where he was at.
Yeah, but Dave, go back to Diego Lopez's schedule. His fight schedule. Look, he fought Gavin Tucker, submission, armbar. Pat Sabatini, KO. Sodiq Youssef, TKO punches. The level of competition which I can build him on is a lot higher than Bo Nickel's level of competition.
Right now?
Yeah, right now. And I think right now, I mean, like, you're looking at Diego Lopez, he's gonna start elevating into that top 10, top probably 7, 8, somewhere in there here real shortly. I feel like there should have been maybe Bo Nickel being the co-main on the prelims under Rakic and Yuri, and then you should have had Lopez in there fighting someone like this. I mean, I've seen enough from Lopez. I'm gonna always go with the smaller guy though too because they have better fights. But
Josh, couldn't you argue that Lopez being on the free part of the broadcast is probably it's probably better for him and that he's got more eyeballs.
He might got more eyeballs. Yeah,
I agree. He probably did get more eyeballs, but I got also UFC 300. It wouldn't have been that much more. I don't think it would have been that much more. A lot of people paid for this pay-per-view. And let's not just forget that because the number of pay-per-views that were bought doesn't mean that there's not 50 people in a house watching one show. So the number of eyeballs were probably about equal, if not, somewhere in that range, I'd say. So
why am I all by myself with my TV?
It's the best way.
Yeah, I know, dude.
I had like 6, 7 people invite me over to come watch it. I'm like,
I had the same thing. I was like, no, because I can't do it.
No,
I can't sit there and watch the fights and actually watch them and have all those people around because then they're asking questions and stuff. I can text with you.
Yeah.
Right. That's
John's just keeping me from watching the fights.
Yeah, that's it.
That's great. Oh no, I get it. I like it. I agree with you. Like I just can't. And people kept asking, "Hey, what are you doing for UFC 300?" I'm like, I'm gonna be at home just watching it. So, all right, let's go to the Yuri Prochaska versus Alexander Rakic.
Man, I'll tell you what, Alexander was looking really good.
Phenomenal.
He was looking controlled. His stand-up was sharp, clean. Yuri was all over the place, which is normal. That's part of what makes him who he is and why he is difficult to fight is he does things that you look and you go, why are you doing that? Mm-hmm. And I say that with, the utmost of respect, but it's like, why are you doing that? That's, put your goddamn hands up. Don't step in like that. You're just walking forward with your chin out there. That's who Yuri is. And man, it's kind of like why you love to watch him fight. He's a nut.
Yeah.
He's an absolute nut, and Alexander was doing a great job of the pressure is not easy to put up with. When you're in that fight and you got a guy that's crazy walking forward and you're trying to pick your angles and set things up. He was doing a great job of landing clean shots. He landed some hard shots in that fight. He really did, man. I'll tell you what, Yuri definitely showed again. His chin's just fine. But Yuri just is Yuri, man. And he finally gets to the point, second round, it was like, wow. I mean, when he hit him and you could say, oh, he's hurt. He's in trouble. And then he went after him with a big finish and stuff. And I mean, just solidified himself right there, to get close. I don't know. I don't think they're going to give him a rematch right away. I think there'll be one more fight in there, but he's right at that position.
Pull up the light heavyweight would probably be just Ankalaev would be the last one, but Ankalaev is probably waiting for a title shot. He's probably waiting. I mean, he's got to be next in line, Ankalaev. So I mean, who else would Yuri fight?
Jan Blachowicz.
Maybe you think Jan?
Yeah.
I mean, unless you want to see what Krylov can do somewhere in there. I know Khalil Roundtree seemed very vocal on social media, hoping that Alex was still there when he got to the top, all those things. So, I mean, would you see something like that where you have Yuri fighting down against somebody like a Khalil Roundtree?
If Yuri would take it, I think it's a great matchup, honestly. Khalil against Yuri, it's interesting because Khalil's got his, specific ways of what he does well. And he's got the power, you would think, he can hurt Yuri because Yuri's hands are always down and stuff. Mm-hmm. But does the pressure, if there was one thing about Khalil early in his career that he's really he's taking care of it and he's doing great, is he used to get really tired.
Yeah.
He used to exert a lot of energy, and pressure would end up making him get exhausted, and that would be his downfall in the fight. Well, that Yuri's going to pressure you. And so how long does he last, or is he able to, stay with the way he's been lately, where he manages that pressure and he manages his energy and doesn't get tired? So I would love to see that fight. I don't know if I was in Yuri's corner, I don't know if that's a fight I would take.
And I think what you're going to see you're going to see two guys coming off of losses, Jamal Hill and Rakic. They're probably going to end up fighting.
Yeah.
Because they want to keep Rakic, I think, in that top position. They want to keep Jamal in that top position somewhere in there. So keep those guys in the top. And one of them's got to get a win.
Yep.
And it's been the UFC's format for years.
But it works.
It works. I think it's a great job. Like, you make sure that you're not losing one of your top contenders too far down. And so Rakic coming off the loss, but I mean, I thought he looked phenomenal. The leg kicks were paying dividends. He got started on them early. You saw Yuri struggling. He kind of got away from him though a little bit in the early second round. I thought he should have kept them going.
Yeah.
It was there though, like early in the second round, he looked good. It seemed like every time he would land a leg kick, he'd land a solid shot, probably like the next combination, to the head with the kick, with the shot, with the boxing. It just was there, man. And I loved what he was doing. He just
how many times did he have him off balance based upon those leg kicks?
Yep. I felt like it was he let the opportunity slip away. He was almost there. He had the fight, but Yuri's not someone that can be counted out. It's good. It was a damn good fight. I thought he looked good for his return fight, Rakic. And Yuri, John, I text you. I was listening to the press. I think it was the media day or something like that. And Yuri was making all the excuses about his loss to Alex. I don't want to talk about it. I only had 1 week to train. I'm like, stop. You're not like, It just sounds really, really bad. Let's not make these excuses. The fight's gone. It's over. You can't change it. Yeah. I don't need to hear about it. Like, you lost. Let's go right into the next one. You proved now that you're ready. You're still there. You had a full camp. You look good. He physically looked good as well. It kind of turned me off a little bit. I was a Yuri fan, and I started got a little bitter after I heard that. Like, all these excuses. I don't want to talk about it. Then he went on for 10 minutes. Yeah. So, but looking forward to seeing who he fights next and who Rakic fights next as well, because he's a fun fighter to watch. That was a good fight back. Aljamain Sterling versus Calvin Kattar. I got to be honest, John. Aljamain Sterling looked awesome. He filled out. He looked good. I liked everything about what he was doing. He's got to get more relaxed on the feet. Just whatever it is, he's got to get more relaxed. Doesn't matter what weight class he fights in. He's got to fix that. Like, he can take a shot. I don't understand. Like, he's taking some big shots. I know that the Sugar Sean thing didn't go his way, and the Marlon Rice with the kick didn't go his way. But look, don't let that define what you are or who you are. Like, you got a good chin, buddy. You know, I mean, you've been kneading the head and won a title off of it. So
that knee that he took, that was a knee by Marlon Rice.
Oh yeah, but he was a kick. It was a kick motion though.
Yeah,
he threw the kick and the knee hit him.
That knee could have knocked him.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm saying, though, he looked good. I said the same thing about Max. They filled out really well. Legs, calves, back, everything.
And I'm going to be honest, he fought a smart fight.
Yes.
He fought the fight to, going up against Calvin Kattar. You're not going to, don't be on the feet and try to outbox Calvin Kattar. Take him down, use your superior ground game, and just make it ugly. The only thing that I would say, if you're going to put anything on this fight, is Aljamain, you're way better on the ground than him. you've got to create situations.
Yeah.
Yes, you can hold him. Yes, you can control him. Yes, you can. You in this situation, because if you're Aljamain Sterling at 145 pounds, debut fight, former champion, look, it only takes one good performance for you to be considered up there for a title shot. But I don't think he got it off of this win. And it was a smart fight by him, and I take nothing away from him. I understand the whole thing. But it was, if you were going to look at this entire card, which was one of the most lackluster fights there was, it was this one. Because you had Aljamain, for the most part, going out there, taking him down at will and just controlling him. Controlling. You know, he did some damage with, some striking and stuff like that. But it was, rinse and repeat the entire time throughout the 3 rounds. And so for him being that former champion, I just wish he had tried, and I'm not saying he wasn't trying. I know he's trying, but pushed more to try to get that, finish on the ground. But, he looked good. I can't take anything away from him.
Do you think after the Sean O'Malley fight that he kind of got into this position where, like, it doesn't matter what the UFC wants anymore, I'm going to just do what I need to do to get these wins? Don't take fights that I need to. He's been very vocal about, I felt forced to take in that fight because, the pay-per-view numbers are going to be there. He's like, the pay-per-view numbers weren't what they should have been or what I was told they would be. Yeah. All of these things. And I think this was more like, look, this is my first fight up at 145. I'm going to do whatever it is I need to do to get the win.
He did. And, and good for him. I'm not saying anything.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think he looks good at that weight class. He looks filled out.
He looked, as far as physically, he looked better at 145 than he does at 135.
I feel the same way about Max.
Yeah.
I just think when I look at the road to success, though, and get into the title shot, I don't see it for Max at lightweight. Not with those 2 top wrestlers. And even Gamrot can make a little bit of a surge. I think he would pick Gamrot apart on the feet. Armand. Anyways, I get into all that. But I think he'd be able to maybe pick Gamrot apart on the feet, be able to get back up a little bit more. But either Gamrot's even also another one that's a threat for him. Yeah. So those are 3 top level wrestlers that Max would have to go through. Whereas at 145, they don't really have that level of wrestling. It's not there. All right.
Kayla Harrison against Holly Holm. Go ahead. Let's just start eating crow now.
She looked phenomenal. She looked
good.
I was concerned after the first round, the adrenaline dump, getting the takedowns, controlling top position. John, when you get back to the corner, that's when the cardio hits. You're like,
that's when you go,
I can't breathe. It's when you stop moving is when you're like, holy cow, I can't breathe. I'm so tired. My arms feel so heavy. I didn't see any of that.
No.
I didn't see any of that. She looked good. She looked a little stiff in the beginning on the feet, but look, just trying to figure out what Holly's doing. And,
Holly's bouncing all around.
Yeah. Holly got, I don't know if Holly let it get to her head, whatever it was. When she got the reversal and got on top, should have backed out and got away.
Yeah.
You had said that, Holly's been fighting in the clinch, fighting in the knees and the elbows. And I was saying, okay, I think she can go ahead and do that for a second, but she's got to make space and get away. And you were like, no, she's got to take that out of there. And she did. She needed to take it out of there. I mean, Kayla looked great. The one thing, though, that I was saying this, I didn't say it last week, and I wish I would have. If Kayla Harrison wins this fight and she looks good, do we see the potential of Amanda Nunes coming back? And I think we do.
Oh, dude, didn't you see the little thing by Amanda?
I did. What?
Yeah. Eventually,
you call my name? Anybody?
Did you call my name? Yeah, I said. I look at it and say, Kayla's going to be a problem. And look, the UFC needs her. They need this shot.
Yeah.
They need this, shot in the arm with someone that, first off, physically, I was vocal and said, man, I don't like the fact she's losing that much weight. She did it right.
Yeah.
She did it right because she looked good. She did not look depleted at all. She looked physically strong. She looked as good as I've ever seen her physically. And I mean, that was at 135. And so she did it the right way. So kudos to her for the discipline and everything that it took to do it the right way, because that is not easy coming from where she was at. All the hard work and the discipline it took, big time props to Kayla. Second, the way she handled the pressure. She had, you watched her at the media, the presser and stuff like that. She was happy, she was having fun, she answered the questions, in a respectful fashion, but, saying, man, hey, I'm here to prove something. She goes out the night of the fight under all of that pressure, no matter what. The only thing that she's had pressure wise that you could really say that could compare would be the Olympics, to that situation that she walked out to. And, that's been a while. And so she handled that beautifully. And then once, the reversal by Holly, I think got her attention.
Mm-hmm.
It got her attention, like, oh, okay, all right.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm comfortable here. I'm good. This is where I belong. And from that point, I think that kind of got rid of some of the nerves that would have been there. And she just fought beautifully. She fought just a smart fight, just took over. I mean, you can't say anything that, she didn't have going on the right way for her in that fight. So I think, she's proved, I think she's going to end up, people are going to say what they want, and the ladies in the bantamweight division are going to say what they want. No one wants to fight her.
I mean, I guess
that performance.
I mean, I guess those B-level fighters are pretty good.
Yeah, there you go.
That's, MVP coming off a good win. You got Kayla Harrison coming off of a good win. I mean, I know they're not fighting the top ranked people, but they're up there in that mix now. They're in the top 10, top whatever it is. So, yeah. I mean, Michael Chandler that came over had a good win over Dan Hooker. I mean, they're in that mix. I'm not saying they're ever going to get the title, but we've always said on any given day, any of these fighters can beat each other.
Here's my question for you though. After this, what do you do as far as Holly Holm?
You see what Holly wants to do. You give her the opportunity to do what she wants.
She's 42 years of age.
Mm-hmm.
She has slowed down. You can see it, especially in her stand-up. Her hands are much slower. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
She's turned into more of, like we talked about, she's turned into more of a grappler in this. Does she become your gatekeeper? Like, this is kind of what that fight was. Can you, can
possibly
Kayla get past her?
I honestly believe if I'm the UFC, I keep her there. I mean, you keep her there because I'd like to see her and Misha do it again.
Yeah, I would love to see that fight. That would be one that I would love to see.
Yeah, I just look at it as you allow someone like her to make her own decision.
Okay.
She deserves that much. She's been a class act the whole time. It's not like she's taking a ton of damage either.
No, she's just slowing down.
Yeah, she is.
And you can see it.
Outside of the Amanda Nunes fight where she got knocked out with the head kick, right? I think that was it. What other fights has she been knocked out in? I don't recall. Just the Amanda Nunes fight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just one.
Yeah. So I don't know. I look at that. I look at her and I go, look, you let her do what she needs to do. She's there. She's getting wins still. She's losing, getting wins, losing, getting wins. Let it be.
Okay.
I'm going to tune in. I like her. I think she's always been a class act. I love how she answered the Ronda Rousey talk. Look, she was great. She was phenomenal. She was dominating people, but I was just better than her. I was better than her that night. And I feel like I was better than her, period. So I can respect that. She didn't bash her. She didn't talk shit. She said it in a very respectful way. And you got to keep those people around. They are what is keeping the fans that hate the trash talk, that's what's keeping those kind of fans there.
Yeah.
As people like Holly Holm.
Look, she's a phenomenal person. When I say, what do you do with her? My question is, everybody that's coming up, is that the person you're using as your, gatekeeper, or are you actually trying to put her in? You got Macy Chason, who's right behind her, who's really coming on. Is that the kind of say, all right, let's, can you get past Holly?
Yeah.
And does Holly want to be the gatekeeper?
We'll see. We're going to find out what they just decide to start doing. There's a lot of young, talented females that are coming up, so we're going to find out. Diego Lopez versus Sodiq Youssef. He just looked great.
Phenomenal. Dude, got rid of a really good fighter like, I mean, nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, just put on a performance. And this kid is, he's got it. There's that thing, like he doesn't speak. He needs to speak English. If I was his people, we're gonna start taking English lessons.
Absolutely.
Okay, but he's got it. He's got a different look. He's got the greatest straight mullet you've ever seen, right? And man, he can fight, and he can fight everywhere. His stand-up is nasty. He's got power. He's got a good ground game. This guy is the real deal, and he's going to be a problem in the featherweight division.
I believe he speaks Spanish and Portuguese.
Yeah.
And so you have a guy who's a double whammy. You can fight him in Mexico City. You can fight him in Brazil.
Yep.
And if he can speak just a tiny bit of English,
just a little bit, yeah.
We had talked about, Dave and I talked about this on Friday on a short little clip that we did. If you guys haven't checked it out, go down below and check it out. We talked about the 300,000 bonuses. We talked about the BMF female title being considered. We talked about these type of things, but this is one of those things. Losing the momentum of having to go through an interpreter. I don't need much out of you. I just need enough to say, I'm going to smash your boy.
Yeah,
that's what I need.
Go.
That's all I need. I don't need a lot.
I
just need that much. And if you can
listen
give me
to
that
me,
much.
listen to me.
Yes.
Okay, that's
yes.
all it's okay. Yeah.
That's what we need right now. So if we can get a little bit of that, I think it'd be good. So I think Diego Lopez is going to be a star. If I am the UFC, I'm looking to potentially put him in a main event, maybe at an Apex fight or something here soon, because he deserves it. The way he's making it look, he's getting finishes. He's got 3 fights after his loss to Evolov or whatever. He's got 3 fights. And he's got 3 finishes.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind seeing him go against Evolov again.
That's true. I would agree. I think Evolov's looking towards the title, but that's not.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, you got Diego Lopes. I mean, why not him and Arnold Allen? That'd be a good one. Or Giga Chikadze. Whatever. I haven't heard from Giga in forever. Did he get hurt?
I think he's booked. Hold on.
Yeah, I haven't heard from Giga in a long time.
He's got a fight. He had to pull out of a fight, and then
yeah.
What?
John, after we've started doing this podcast, I realized that I should have fought a lot more. I mean, I just realized that I didn't do myself any favor by not being. I was a pretty active. I tried to be as active as I possibly could. That was one of the downfalls of fighting for Strikeforce, is that we didn't have as many shows as the UFC, and so then sure. I wasn't able to fight as often because we had so many fighters that were signed, and that was kind of one of the downfalls. So sure, I was making more money, but I wasn't able to fight as often. But I really wish I would have been able to, because there was a budget there because we were making more money. But I thought Diego Lopez looked great, so he's going to have to go back to the drawing board, man. Come back. But I think Diego Lopez, there's a bright future for him. I think they're going to look to put him in some sort of main event here soon.
He is. He's part of the future of that featherweight division.
Absolutely,
man. He's just that good.
Absolutely. Moicano versus Jalen Turner.
Come on, brother. Man, I'll tell you what. We talked about this one, and I said, look, Moicano's got great ground. He's got really good stand-up. But if he wants to win this fight, man, he better take Jalen down to the ground. And that's what he was working at the whole time. And when you look at this fight, it all comes down to, we talk about young fighters and doing things and being smart. And Jalen Turner's going to be kicking himself forever over a moment of time where he started to walk away from somebody when, man, we talk about all the time, go until you're told to stop. When you're told to stop, stop. But man, that moment that he was walking away, Josh, that could have been the difference in that fight.
Not could have. It was going to be. Yeah. All you had to do was follow up. One more shot. I mean, that's like, I mean, I had blacked out everything else you and I were talking about, but I tweeted a screenshot. I had blacked it all out, but it was, I said, Jalen just made a big mistake. You said huge. And I'm thinking to myself, and now he's mounted. Like this is how you start the second round mounted. Gosh. I mean, and he just looked lost on the ground against Moicano.
He was against Moicano. He was. Everything that he knew how to do wasn't working for him, and it was just not a good place. And once Moicano started to really open, he hurt him. You know, the elbows on top, the punch. You get hit. I tell guys all the time, look, you get to a good position on someone, elbows. Because elbows, they get through, they hurt. Okay? There's just a sharp thudding pain that comes with them. And the referees get all twitchy and nervous when you start throwing elbows. They're okay with you punching. You start throwing big elbows, and all the referees are looking to stop it. And so, first off, Moicano is fun. I love him. He's the greatest post-fight interview because you can't interview him.
Yeah,
Joe's in there trying to interview him. Hey, motherfuckers! This is the greatest country ever. I believe in freedom, the First Amendment, freedom of speech. Right? He just starts taking off, man. And then he finally said, "Okay." Joe's asking, and let me tell you this. He doesn't answer it from him. I was like. He is absolutely one of my favorites.
I mean, he's cutting a promo every time he gets the mic, and that's what you got to do sometimes.
That's
what you got to do.
Dude, I want to hear what Chael Sonnen has to say about Moicano on the mic because it's a different take than what Chael did.
Yes.
But it works.
It does work. It does. Jessica Andrade versus Marina Rodriguez.
Look, good, clean fight. Marina looked good at times, especially the third round. She was really coming on really clean. But, when Jessica gets the fight to the ground in the top position, she's just a mauling bear, and doesn't matter how tall she is. She's physically strong, able to control position. She does damage there. She gave Marina a lot to think about in those to make it to where Marina was hesitant once she got back to her feet of, I don't want to make a mistake.
Yeah.
And which slows down her offense. I thought it was a good fight. It was close, but I thought Jessica definitely won the fight. I thought she landed more shots, better shots overall, and against a person that I think Marina Rodriguez is a damn good fighter.
Yep. I just don't think she was able to handle the physicality of Jessica Andrade, and you could see that every time Jessica just kind of bullied her around. Where she had the little bit of the advantage, she didn't utilize it enough, was the knees and the clinch, knees up to the middle, up to the head, those type of things. But she was also afraid of being taken down and controlled from the top position.
Yep.
So
especially after that first round.
That played a big factor. Bobby Green versus Jim Miller.
God damn it, what a fight. Man, Bobby Green came out there, Jim Miller came out there. That first round was fun.
It was.
They were going. Jim Miller had his moments where he looked good. I thought, you could have gone either way on the first round. I'm not going to sit here and say anything about both guys were just at times touching the other and doing good things. But boy, as soon as that round told Bobby Green everything he needed to know about, okay, this is what I need to do. And the second round, he took over, and he put. God, you take a look at Jim Miller, been in UFC 100, UFC 200, now UFC 300. And, that tells you, hey, he's a veteran fighter up in years. Man, he took some shots.
Yeah.
And this is where, we talk about all the time. It's always easy to be the hammer. It's not easy to be the nail, because when things aren't going well for you to step back in the pocket and try to throw. He was trying to throw continuously. Speed was the difference here. And we talked about it before the fights when we reviewed everything. I said, Bobby Green's going to be way faster. He was way faster.
He was way faster, but
even more than I thought.
But in the first round, it wasn't as significant.
No,
Jim had the speed as well. He was still a little bit step behind, but he had the power advantage. So anytime something that Jim threw, it threw Bobby's his balance off. So it was like he kicked him with the inside leg kick, boom, it threw Bobby off. He kicked him to the body, it threw Bobby off. Bobby wasn't able to really get off. I gave the first round to Jim. It was a close.
Yeah,
it was a close round, but I gave it to Jim Miller. But the second and third, Bobby just started finding his range, able to touch him with the jab.
Yep.
Sort of mixing it up. He started throwing that little like thigh kick, kind of little push kick, thigh kick kind of thing. Then came back with a combination and then lifted the leg sometimes, didn't throw the kick, but had him thinking about it, then throwing the combination. Then he led with the combination and finished with the kick. Bobby started mixing it up really well. And then you can see, because when someone's faster than you and they able to feint, not feint, and then throw, fake the throw, like, and it just kept Jim guessing, and he was just getting hit with big shots. And they weren't like shots that would knock him out, but they were shots that were blooding him up and making him bleed and getting blood in your eye. And just, it was.
He diced him. Did you see his one eye, man? He had two, an upper and a lower. He had one on the eyelid, then one across on the brow. He got worked on that side of his face. He took a lot of damage.
Deiveson Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt.
Man, Deiveson Figueiredo's fighting better at bantamweight than he did it. I don't know if it's the weight cut.
Yeah.
He's filling out, feeling strong, feeling good. Cody had his moments in this fight. In the stand up, they're clean shots landed by both. It got to that second round, and once Deiveson got the back, it looked like Cody was going to get out for a little bit. It looked like he was trying to, squirm his way through. Sunk in the rear naked choke. I think that's the first time that Cody's ever been submitted.
I believe it was.
He's been knocked out, but never submitted and stuff. And so that's a big win for Deiveson. I know Deiveson is now calling for a bantamweight title shot. I don't know if this one's going to do it for him. Yeah, I think he needs another one.
Yeah, I don't think it is. But I think Cody was looking really good. He had some good moments in the first round.
Yeah.
He lost a takedown early in the second, and just the rest of it was kind of history from there. But yeah, because Cody's not the easiest guy to take down. The fact that Deiveson was able to get him down early in the second, that can sometimes kill the momentum of whatever it is you're doing, because you've got 4 minutes. I could be stuck down here. And Cody, outside of that though, man, the speed's still there. The ability to fight is still there. He's just got to get back on track, man. He's been up and down, but Deiveson Figueiredo right now is on the way up. He's all the way up. Pull up the bantamweight division for me there, Dave. As I'm looking at this, I would say I would like to see Figueiredo, maybe a Peter Yan. You got Peter Yan. I mean, you've got Marlon Vera.
Do you not like Deiveson Figueiredo?
John, he's gonna have to fight one of those guys. Sterling's gone.
You know that Corey's gone.
Yeah,
he's fighting Umar.
Yeah, so Corey's gone. You got Aljo's now at 45. Henry Cejudo, we don't know where he's going to be, 35 or 25. You've got that mix in there, man. I mean, I think Henry ends up going back down to 25.
If I was Deiveson Figueiredo, I wouldn't do this, but a fight that I'd really like to see is him and Kyler Phillips.
Yeah,
I would love to see that fight.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. I don't think Devison's going to want to do that. I'm a former champion, and now you want me to go down and fight Kyler. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I do actually like that fight. Yeah. I mean, but if you're looking for a step up and someone who just fought for the title, you could say Marlon Vera, Chito or Peter, one of those two.
Yeah.
So, all right. That's going to wrap up our.
Let me pose a question, you guys, real quick before you go off of UFC 300. All right, everybody's quick to say greatest knockout of all time. Okay. Now, if you put Max Holloway knocking out Justin Gaethje in the last second of the fight on the same night, same fight card, same night as George Masvidal knee and Ben Askren in the face in the first 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Which one stands as like greatest knockout of all time for you guys?
Max Holloway.
Still does?
No doubt. Yeah, and this is why. Masvidal's knee, knocked out a guy who had never been knocked out, but Ben is not known as a striker. He's a complete grappler, and it was a trick. Now, not when I say trick, it was, hey, I plan to come out and I'm going to run across here and throw a flying knee, and if Ben does what he does most of the time, is bends down for like a takedown, I could catch him. Great knockout. But when you got a guy in Justin Gaethje who is just a monster that everyone knows is a brawling fool, and you go through 5 rounds, 4 rounds, 4 minutes and 50 seconds of that, and then there's no doubt you have won this fight, and you point to the center and you say, right here, let's throw down, and you plant your feet, bite down on your mouthpiece, and just start winging shots, and you wing a shot that puts him, it starches him. It puts him face down, ass up, which is a position no fighter wants to be in, and completely out at 4:59 of the 5th round. That I don't think there's ever been a greater knockout.
Josh?
Okay, are we talking in terms? And I would agree that it was the setup,
it's
the
okay
way
if
you
you don't
shape
agree.
it all, the way you shape it all. I would agree with you. You got to put all those things into consideration. You do. I would agree with you on that. But I also look at certain. I'm not just going with the Ben Askren fight. I'm going with the Anderson and Vitor fight. Something that had never been done before. Like it's seeing something like that happen for the first time, going outside of the box. And hitting that technique. I know there's other fights. Go ahead.
Leon Edwards against Kamaru Usman in their second fight.
That's another one.
That's a huge knockout in my opinion, based upon he is losing that fight. Mm-hmm. Kamaru's the champion, and not 4:59, but he goes and just starches him with a height kick completely out. That's a better knockout in my opinion than the Masvidal.
Brian Ortega, Korean Zombie.
Oh yeah,
Yair Rodriguez and
Yair Rodriguez against Korean Zombie.
Yeah.
Great knockout. 4:59 of the 5th round.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
There's fights that could be in that conversation.
Oh yeah, there's been so many that you.
Yeah. No, that was more of a shot, dropped him, then finish up.
Yeah.
No,
that was in the last second, though, was it not? Or,
no, it was towards the end of the fight. You're right, but
okay.
There was a lot of things that you look at that one now.
Okay,
but just some of the ones that were brought up.
But you don't. So
great
so you like winging shots and landing a knockout versus the calculated, planned. Technical approach that Masvidal had, because it really is. He knew what he was going to do. He just had to do, but he didn't know what Ben Askren's
right.
He just had to
reaction was going to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like how many times did you watch Fabricio Verdum run across the cage and do a flying front kick?
Yeah.
Okay, did it all the time. Okay, I seen him put people on their ass with it too. Okay, but you look and you go, yeah, it's pre-planned. Okay, he's doing it on purpose. He knows exactly what he's going to do. And if it catches the guy, okay, awesome. But there's all this time, in the fight that could have gone on with Masvidal and Ben Askren. Masvidal landed the knee. It was a crushing knee, no doubt about it. I love the fact, I think they have that at 5 seconds. Mm-hmm. And it's like, dude, you're going to tell me it took him 5 seconds to run across that cage? No. That fucking knockout is a 2-second knockout, because the moment he's out, the fight's over. Mm-hmm. You're going to sit there and say, okay, whatever you want to say, but the fastest knockout by far, and, incredible.
It wasn't over until he landed his super necessary punch on the ground.
Yeah, super necessary. But it was the whole part of, look at Max Holloway had a win in his pocket and still said, fuck it, let's go. And knocks him out with 1 second. And same type of knockout, fucking starched, face down, ass up. To me, that one is just, remarkable.
To be fair, George was winning all 2 seconds of that fight until...
Yeah, he was. George completely dominated the first 3 steps. Yeah.
All right, guys. Hey, that's going to wrap up our UFC 300 talk. So I just wanted to go ahead and jump right into the PFL that was fighting on Friday night. It was Thursday or Friday? It was Friday. Friday. Last week they were Thursday, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. So professional PFL, Professional Fighters League, PFL number 2. This was the regular season. You have the lightweights and the light heavyweights mixing it up. You have Impa Kasanganay versus Alex Polizzi. Impa, man, he's getting better every time I see him fight.
Yeah, he is.
He's getting better every time I see him fight.
I thought this was going to be a hard fight for Polizzi to win, but I thought he was, he's tough. He's durable. He keeps coming back. I thought he would, be able to hang with Impa for a little bit in there. I thought he was going to end up getting beat in the fight, but Impa Dude, he put some big shots on him, hurt him early. I thought it was a good stoppage. You didn't need to see that last nail in the coffin and watch him go down. Impa's looking really good. I think he looks better at 205 than he does 185.
He does. I thought he looked good at 185, but then you can see the weight cut got to him in the fight as the fight went on. So,
exactly.
John, I think we're going to continue to talk about how fighters, me being included, when I was fighting, was that we feel the need to cut the weight.
Yeah.
We feel the need that we feel like it makes us better. We feel like we're the weight bullies.
At a lighter weight.
Yeah, we feel better at a lighter weight. I mean, I felt quicker. I felt stronger. I felt all these things. The bottom line is I was probably better at 170. I could have maybe been, even though I walked around 172. Yeah. But because in my mind, I always looked at guys like John Fitch, who was 200, Matt Hughes, being 200. I mean, these guys, Koscheck was 188, 185, somewhere in there. So 190. It's like, I always felt like, man, that's a lot of weight to cut or for them. It was a lot of weight to give up when it came fight night. Yeah. Impa looks good at 205. Hopefully he stays there, but he looked dominant as well. Alex had no answer for anything he was doing. Impa was composed. He had the great shots. I mean, he was doing everything right. He's operating on all cylinders right now. What I like to see was that he didn't let the Johnny Eblen fight get to him. He came out and fought the same fight.
Which was the question really going into this fight. Because it was, I was looking saying, what effect did that loss? Because when you're on a roll, things are looking good. You've won your last, 5 fights. You're feeling good, and then boom.
Yep.
And is that gonna have an effect on your confidence and your output and how you're gonna approach the fight? Not at all. Not at all.
I agree. Rob Wilkinson versus Tom Breeze. Quick fight.
Yeah. Look, Rob Wilkinson's good. I said it before when he won the PFL's 2022 season. He's good. He is very good with his stand-up. His clinch work and knees is devastating. He does a great job of opening up the body for those shots. Tom Breeze I like Tom Breeze. I've watched him fight multiple times. He's a good fighter. He's a really good grappler. I know he was saying, don't think I'm just a grappler. You were fighting a guy that you needed to get to the ground. And that was the real question. Was he going to be able to get him to the ground? That did not happen in a minute 10.
All right. Clay Collard versus Patricky Pitbull.
Good fight.
Great fight.
Man, they were going.
It was a great fight.
And this is, one of those things you look in. It was Clay Collard, 31 years of age now. Pitbull, 38. I think
38.
38. He gets into this mode of, I thought, look, you need to take Clay Collard down, do work on the ground, beat him up on the ground. When you watch people beat Clay Collard, how do they beat him? They take him down. Look at OAM winning the PFL title. How did he beat him? 5 rounds of taking down, put him on his back, create problems. AJ McKee, put him on his back, submit him. That's how you beat Clay Collard. If people don't get into stand-up battles and come out on top against Clay Collard, Shane Burgos, that didn't work for him. Jeremy Stevens, that didn't work for him.
Anthony Pettis,
that didn't work for him. There's a reason Clay Collard is freaking good on the feet. He is slick. He hits to the body beautifully well. All those things. I mean, I just look and say, Pitbull went out there. He put him down with a shot. I don't think he hurt him that much with it, but he landed some heavy shots. But when you're swinging big heavy shots the whole fight, you get tired. And I was on broadcast there and judging it, and I gave the first round to Pitbull. He deserved it based upon the power and based upon putting him down. But I said he's getting tired though.
Yeah.
And the body shots are starting to have an effect. And that's exactly what happened.
Well, John, I wouldn't even say that it was, I know the body shots did have an effect, but I wouldn't even say it was the body shots. We've seen in his last couple of fights, in Pitbull's fights, he slows down after his big combinations. After he lands big shots, he takes a step back and takes a deep breath. At 38 years old, I got the experience there. I understand. That wrestling that you're talking about, he hasn't done it in his whole career. It's right now at 38, it's too hard and difficult to start doing that. Whereas guys, they've kind of evolved themselves a little bit. Arlovsky was able to kind of do it, but he's dealing with heavyweights who can't wrestle. Clay Collard has a little bit of wrestling. He's got a little bit of scrambling experience. He talks about background. And also Clay Collard is huge for the weight. When I saw him standing next to Patricky, I was like, holy cow. And we saw, I interviewed him in Riyadh. He's a big guy. He's a big guy. We had him on the podcast here. If you guys haven't heard his interview, go check it out. But yeah, he's a stud. He's got great pressure. He can handle taking a big shot. He took some big shots. What I loved is he didn't let the big shots that he was taking, even though it knocked him off balance or it put him to the ground. He got back up. He's like, no, I'm just keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to keep walking you down, keep touching your body.
That's who he is.
Yeah, I'm going to keep fighting you this way. And Patricky had no answer for that. And when that kind of pressure gets put on you and your back starts touching the fence, now you become target practice. And that's exactly what happened. He just had no answer.
And there's, they brought it up during the broadcast. Keith Peterson stops that fight with Patricky on his feet, taking shots. But it was a good stop, Josh.
I agree with you.
I know that Pitbull's corner was complaining stuff. You can't sit there and just be a punching bag and expect, yes, he was throwing a shot as Keith Peterson came in to stop the fight. But he told him multiple times, fight back. Yeah. You've got to throw.
Yeah, Keith could have been a little bit more vocal about it.
Yeah.
I mean, as in terms like, hey, you need to, I guess.
It was a good stoppage.
I agree with you. It was. I would like to hear, because as you're taking shots, John, you're not really hearing a lot at that moment. That's another thing.
No,
so
that's true. That's true. But just the same as Alex Polizzi against Impa. I don't need to see the nail go in the coffin to know it's over.
I know you don't like it, but I say we do. All right. Michael Dufort versus Mads Burnell.
Wow. If you would have said that Dufort was going to get a submission win on this, I would have said you're full of shit. Yep. If you would have said he was going to get a knockout, I said, okay, I can see that happening. But it was the body shot that created the whole situation.
It was.
Mads, it wasn't, I don't even think it was the pain of the body shot, no air, and now you're getting choked. Yeah. It's like, I'm done. I can't.
He was tapping before it seemed like it was really fully on.
Yeah,
he was already
absolutely.
tapping.
And dude, way to go for Dufort, because I thought this was going to be a tough fight for Dufort. If it was on the ground, well, when it went to the ground, he had the submission.
Dave, can you scroll? I want to see the whole fight card. So start from the top, though. Scroll back up. No, up the other way.
Okay.
There you go. Look. So we're here. You've got the main event was Alice Polizzi and Impa Kasanganay. But go back down there, Dave, to the Wilkinson. Now, this is what I want to say. Mads Burnell, Patricky, Alex, I got the feeling when they walked in that they saw all the Bellator guys doing so well in Riyadh and in the previous shows that we're gonna walk through these guys. And now I'm starting to see, John. I look. There was always the Bellator guys were better than the PFL guys, and I think we've seen that. But this is that card that I felt like the Bellator guys came in with a little bit of arrogance. I've seen Mads fight the way he's fought, but he seemed like he was rushing forward and just doing his little peekaboo cover, and he was taking shots he shouldn't have taken. He should have let the fight develop more. And
he was blocking a lot.
He was. I agree with you. I do agree.
There was a good output by Dufort, but he wasn't hitting. He was hitting shoulders. Yep. He was hitting arms.
He was. But it all changes when the one gets through, and being a little bit too careless that way. And we've seen him be careless before sometimes. But I think that him and then Patricky also just really composed. But I think in that, hey, I'm gonna catch him. I'm gonna catch him. I'm gonna catch him. I think the Bellator guys, I felt a little bit of a little overconfidence, I should say, not cockiness, not arrogance, a little overconfidence coming in, and it backfired tonight. Not tonight, but it backfired that night. Michael Dufort, though, if you're Mads Burnell, and the only way he can really beat me is on the feet, so why are we rushing that situation? Let's go ahead and let's make our play to get in close. Let's have him make some shots, make him miss, make him pay, and then work into our grappling. Mads Burnell is good on the ground, phenomenal on the ground. Yeah, he's turned into more of a striker now. And and when fighters start going up in weight too, John, it makes me start wondering: are you putting in the work? Yep. Are you running? Are you doing what do you like? Is it
doing what you're supposed to do?
Yeah, you're doing what you're supposed to do, or are you just training the train to get the fights now? So All right, Joshua Silveira versus Sadabusi.
Well, nothing happened in this fight. Let's just be honest. Joshua goes out there, he gets the takedown, and on the takedown, Sadabu goes and posts his arm, and his thumb gets caught underneath it and dislocates. And he looks at Mark Goddard, who's in that position of, I just got raped over the coals by people over the same situation, over a sliver with the PFL. Now it's, Sadabu with his thumb, he says, hey, and he stops the fight, which he's supposed to do. Josh, I want people to know the fighter is told in the back, hey, I did it with you too many times. Hey, if you end up, dislocating a finger, breaking a toe, and you want to continue on in the fight, just keep fighting. Don't sit there and show me. If you show me, you're asking me to stop the fight, I'm going to do that. You're going to lose by TKO. I'll let you fight with that dislocation. I'll let you get back to the corner and let them pop it back in. He just, nothing against Sadabu. It's just that for whatever reason, he could not maintain continuing to fight with that injury.
Can you imagine someone looks up your profile and sees that you lost because you had a finger injury? Or even better, it said you lost because you have a splinter.
Yeah, the loss by splinter.
I mean, like you've got, I don't know. For me, you got to think like, could you move it back in place by yourself? We've seen guys do it in the cage. We've seen them like just try to pop it back.
Absolutely.
In. You saw Aaron Pico trying to get his shoulder back in between rounds
for an entire round.
Yeah. So
I went, on the broadcast, they said, was that a good stop? It's like, absolutely. It's like he has no other choice. Yeah. We will allow you to continue on with that. Mm-hmm. And I gave this demonstration of this fight from God knows how long ago. It was unbelievably long. But in Chicago, Josh Thomson fighting Benson Henderson. He broke his thumb in the first round. I saw his thumb sitting in a funky position, and I let it go. And I actually thought, well, when they get back to the corner, they'll pop it back in. And I walked over, and I go, they're not popping that back in.
Yeah, it's not getting back in.
They're not popping that back in. And he went out in the second, the third, fourth, fifth. You lost a split decision in that fight.
Yeah, one of the UFC fighters said something about their toe. Had hurt their toe or broke their toe, and their coach told them in the corner, nothing we can do about it now.
Oh, their finger.
Yeah,
the finger.
Yeah, finger. Like you'll worry about it tomorrow, and that's exactly what Bob Cook always used to tell me. That don't fucking matter. Yeah. Like we're here right now.
I don't want to hear about that.
Do you want? Are we throwing it? Like Bob would say, like you want to quit?
Well,
and I was like,
it's a matter of everything is how bad is it?
Yeah,
how bad is it? Now there's things that are bad, and there's things that you look and you go, it looks bad, but it's really not bad. Mm-hmm. And you can make it through this. I'm not going to put you out there if mentally you're not prepared to do that though. And that's what Bob is always doing. Is people, hey, that's no big deal. Let's go. Yeah. And sometimes you need someone to tell you that.
He just asked, you want to quit? And you knew the answer should have always been no.
But you see how he phrased that. Hey, do you want to quit?
No, he would. He knew. He knew.
So you knew. Well, you just answered that, didn't you?
Yeah, it's like that was the last thing on some of these fighters' mind. Yeah. All right, let's go. Shoeface versus Simon Biong. This fight did not go the way that I thought it would go, John. I expected.
Really, it went exactly like I thought.
Did you? I thought Simon Biong would do a lot better job of stuffing the takedowns, keeping this fight on the feet. I didn't think that Shoeface was going to be able to get this thing. Is it Shoeface or Horseface?
Yeah, Shoeface.
Shoeface.
Horseface.
Got a little bit of a horse face.
I think I said that one time.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah, I probably put it in your head.
Got it. Yeah. But so I thought Simon would be able to stop a takedown or two.
I thought Simon would try to keep this in the stand-up, but I thought he was going to have a hard time keeping it there because you got to figure he's long, he's strong, but he doesn't wrestle real well. And I thought that Antonio would be able to get the fight to the ground. And once he did, I thought, in the top position, I thought, if he was underneath Biong would do fine. But in the top position, he was going to be in trouble. It just showed, difference in skill level.
The fight that I was surprised by was Yagshimirov versus Nadeau. You weren't surprised?
No.
Okay, so look.
Go ahead.
I wasn't surprised that Yogs won. What I was surprised by was that he was the underdog, like by like plus 250 or something. Yogs
by a
was.
ton. And that's why I was like, look at Nadeau had, I don't know if you watched him in the PFL Europe series where he won the title at the, and you look and you go, look, he's strong. He throws hard. He's tailor-made for Yagshimuradov. I mean, tailor-made, because Yagshimuradov's, his kryptonite is people that can out-wrestle him. People that can put him on his back, and now he's got a big, heavy guy on top of him. He doesn't do well. I refereed him I watched him fight in Russia. I refereed him in Germany. And one of the things about him, he's much faster than people realize, and his hands are much faster. He's got a lot of spinning attacks. And I was just like, I'm telling you right now, Nadeau's going to try to knock him out. That's not a good thing to do with Dovelet. Dovelet is a guy, he does a good job with maintaining distance. Guys like Corey Anderson are the kryptonite of Yagshimuradov. A guy that can stand and bang, but can put you on your back. And once you're on your back, he's going to keep you there. That's exactly what Yagshimuradov has a problem with. So I looked at this and I was shocked at how much of a underdog he was. And I even told the production and said, because they were talking, and I said, hey, Yagshimuradov's going to win this fight.
Yeah.
All right. And they go, you think so? I said, no, I know so. Watch. And luckily I was right in that one, but because I would have looked stupid if I was wrong.
Brent Primus looked absolutely phenomenal against Bruno Miranda.
Yep.
Just dominant performance. I mean, there was nothing to it. Once the first takedown happened, the grappling was done. I mean, there's not much to say about it. I know it was 2 rounds, but it was just utter domination from beginning to end.
And what's funny is this is, there were some people talking about Bruno and, he's from Nova União. He's got great jiu-jitsu too. I go, dude, there's levels to jiu-jitsu. And there's levels to, can Bruno get to the top position against Primus? I said, look, on the feet, Bruno's going to beat him. On the ground, Brent Primus will end up in the top position, and Brent Primus is going to submit him. I go, Brent Primus has got a ton of attacks. He's good there. If there's one place you're not going to just, feel good was with Brent Primus on top of you.
Yeah.
If you're on top of him, you might be able to survive the attacks. When he's in the top position, look out. And he proved it. He looked great.
There was a lot of trash talk back and forth, but Solomon Renfro versus Gaethje Rabadanov, man,
good fight.
Good fight.
Yeah, I thought Solomon Renfro looked fast. He stopped the takedown attempts by Gaethje in the beginning, but all of that output and the way he stopped some of them and the way he got up when he hit the ground, like he's stepping on the gas and he's burning a lot of energy out, and it caught up to him. And you could see as the second round started, he was okay a little bit, but it really started to fade fast. And once he started breathing hard, Gaethje just kept turning it on. It was a nice performance by Gaethje, but Gaethje's not that guy that, he goes out and just dominates people. That's not the way he performs.
No, he just slowly, systematically just starts picking you apart.
Exactly.
And then
it's like a strangle.
As you slow down, he's still at that pace where he can just he doesn't need to pick it up even faster. He just stays at that steady pace and grinds on you, whether it's in the feet, on the ground, it doesn't matter. And he can take it anywhere. He doesn't do anything that's spectacular, but man, I've trained with him. I know how good he is. He is phenomenal. He's very soft-spoken. He's just confident in what he does. And it doesn't matter what people think of him. He's not a big guy. He's not. I mean, if I honestly believe he should be a 45-pounder. He just doesn't want to cut the weight. He's like, nah, I'm good here. I'm like, okay, whatever you decide. He's kind of I think he's kind of the dark horse in this whole thing.
His wrestling he's got that double leg flare that he does. I mean, he does it beautifully. He's got good wrestling. He's confident in his stand-up. Sometimes he's a little overconfident in his stand-up, because he's getting touched and he's missing on counters. But I thought it was a really nice win, and it showed what just being, you don't have to win every minute of the fight. Just be consistent in what you're doing. Keep yourself at that pace. It's like being on cruise control. I'm not gonna sit here and start to gas things up, but that would be my son, I don't even know where I have a phone. Where did I put it? I don't even know where it's at, dude.
Oh,
So I apologize.
We're going to hear this ring.
I know, man. In the middle of the podcast.
What in
You're
the
blowing
hell?
it. Wherever it's at.
Hell?
It's gone now.
Oh, man.
So
That's great. That's great.
That's fine.
All right, look, that Elvin Espinoza versus Adam Piccolotti. Adam was running away with the fight.
Man, completely. The stand up, the ground, everything. But he was getting tired.
Yeah.
He did look tired. And I don't know, again, you talk about, first time in a new promotion, the nerves and everything. I think it kind of started to, get to him. He started to lose that energy in the third round. Look, this is one he's going to look back on and go, I let that slip away.
Let it slip away. I mean, it was snatched from fucking his soul.
It was snatched, exactly. It was a really nice knee. It was exactly what Espinoza had to do to get a win because he was down 2 rounds and he was losing the third.
Marcelo Nunez versus Jordan Heiderman. I missed this fight. I didn't.
No, it's very nice, quick. It was on the feet, not a whole lot of action. And then as soon as Marcelo Nunez took him down, you could see there was a difference in levels of being on the ground, especially on the back. Heiderman didn't have a real ability, and he just switched it over to the arm bar. Very nice. Good win.
All right, that's not going to wrap up our PFL talk, though, John. I want to talk something that got blown up all over Twitter. I want to talk about there was a lot of issues with the production side of it all. And you and I work in the production side for the PFL, for Bellator. We've been on that side of it. I guess where I'm going with this is that hot mics are everywhere.
Yep.
And if you work,
well, it's one of the things you learn.
If you work in TV,
don't say it if you're not going to.
If it's something you wouldn't say, like on the air, don't say it.
Yeah. Yep.
If it's something that you would not say to everybody that's out there watching at home, don't say it. There's hot mics everywhere, and you got to be. There's that, and then they're having mechanical errors in the back. I don't know what it is or what, but there was the in and out. Even some of the like the ads when I was watching from home, the ads were DraftKings ad ran like maybe 4 or 5 seconds, and then it shut off. Bud Light ad ran 10 seconds, then it shut off. I mean, they've got to fix.
There was a lot of production things going on that you look at and you go, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yep.
I look at obviously Sean's the one that got caught making the statement about Wilkinson, and look, this is the kind of stuff that we we joke back and forth with each other.
Yep.
On a broadcast team, we'll joke and stuff. I got caught one time a show in Russia, and it was Bob Scriber, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know. Bob.
I've met him. I think a long time ago. A long time ago.
Pride, a bunch of. And he's known as Dirty Bob Scriber. That's his nickname, right? Dirty Bob. And so Goldie asked me, he said, why is it Dirty Bob? Because he was a dirty son of a bitch. he would bite, he would scratch, he would do everything. And I said, right? I said, he's a great guy. I said, just a wonderful human being and a great coach. I love the guy. I go, but that was how he got all that went out over, the air. And it was, Bob came up to me and said, I'm a dirty son of a bitch. I go, you are? He goes, yeah, I was. Yeah. But he's a great guy, just a wonderful guy. But those things can go out. And so you don't want to get caught saying something that, you wouldn't want to say to the person.
Well, look, I'm not going to say it's a PFL thing too. I mean, like Michael Bisping just got caught recently too, saying something after they were off air, supposed to be off air. That was caught on a hot mic. They actually had the video footage of it still as well. There you go.
Yeah.
There it is. I mean, there's that. And then we went to commercial after one of our desk segments. And I said the F word right after we got done. I was like, oh, that was fucking trash. I said, and then they caught the fuck part, and then it went away. But I mean, it wasn't, not my fault. They just didn't close out the mics fast enough.
That's it.
But I've also got to remember, you got to give them time to close the mics out. So there's a lot, man. There's a lot. So I'm not going to play the Michael Bisping thing. We don't need to rehash, shitty situations like that. Michael may not like me, but I like Michael, and I wouldn't do that to him. But look, we've all been caught a little bit here and there. I have heard some stories of some guys on the Fox network back when UFC was on Fox. They got caught on some hot mics, and I'll leave them nameless as well. But they were like, yeah, I never worked for them again after that.
Hello.
Oh, man. But it happens, man. You got to always be ready, always be prepared. So just if you're not going to say it on air, don't say it while you're inside the studio or off the desk or
it's
cage side.
It's like anything, it's something you learn.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things that after it happens to you, you go, okay, I learned a lesson.
The hardest part is when you have the mic in your hand and it's one of those wireless mics and you're just carrying it around with you and not realizing that it's always hot. So when you're having conversations with people, they can hear everything. And, it's maybe turned off to the outside, but sometimes that gets left on. And sometimes you can pick it up through the actual real feed. Which is shit. All right, UFC announces transformative redesign of the UFC official fight glove. I got to be honest, John, it looks like shit.
But you don't know.
It doesn't mean that it's not curved and it's going to do better. I heard the reports were that they use it for the Dana White Contender Series and the eye pokes went down in terms of percentage wise. I'm all for that. I'm all for that.
Though?
But when you actually look at the glove, the quality of the glove doesn't look as nice.
I know. I admit, when I saw pictures of it, I go, it kind of looks cheap. Yeah. And then I saw it on someone's hand, but
there you go. There it is.
But it was a 4X glove. I watched a video of someone squeezing their hand in it, but it was a small hand in a big glove. So I can't say what it is.
See, look, I'm
looking. Go ahead.
It
does look to me like it's a little bit, and I can't. Is that it?
That's it.
That looks like the old glove.
No, they're showing. They're showing.
No, that looks like the new glove.
In action. They're showing it in action.
The show. I thought they haven't used them yet, except for
they're just showing demos.
Yeah,
this is like just a photo shoot. How they would use it. That's not a real fight, there, John.
Well, why do they have marks on the tape on the glove?
They're trying to simulate what it looks like.
Okay, so anyway,
no, they have used them. They used them in the Dana White Contender Series.
Dana White, yeah. Yes. But I look and it's like, hey, if the glove is better, it does look like it's slimmer. It doesn't look like it's as big of a block, and so I like that in it. It's just a matter of let's see, what looks like in a picture doesn't mean anything.
That's true.
You got to put it in your hand. You got to see it for real, and that'll tell you.
I wish that they would do like a neoprene around the thumb so fighters could stop taping their thumbs.
That's Nathan Levy. You sure that he's not fighting right there?
No, I mean, you really think they're going to publish this on UFC.com with the old gloves while they're promoting the new gloves?
Yes.
Here they're talking about the foam stack. So here they're talking about the data chip power.
It all sounds great. It sounds like a fucking smart cage.
Yeah, if you're a collector, I guess that little data chip thing is great because you can verify that you're not getting ripped off by someone saying the glove was part of a fight when it wasn't.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds a little gimmicky,
it is gimmicky.
A smart cage.
Look, I just hope that it does affect the eye poke situation. I can tell you that the old gloves are a block and keep your fingers straight. It should be that your fingers, you have to work to straighten them, not work to fucking close.
Well, they show that they are a little bit more curved, and it actually kind of looks like it now when you see them on the actual hand. I just went to go back to the pictures where they're all side by side. Yeah.
Sorry, this one right here.
Yes. The one that only has the picture of the gloves. They just look like, remember like the old school, like Century gloves?
Yeah.
The Harbinger, remember the Harbinger gloves? The ones that had the metal bar in it kind of has, they kind of resemble that look a little bit. And I don't know.
Like I said, you never know until
you put them on. I'm speaking, I know I came off a little harsh in the beginning and I'm backpedaling right now. So, I'm backpedaling.
I just hope they're better.
I do.
Hope they're better.
Look, anything that gets rid of the eye pokes. I mean, you got the Max Holloway and Justin Gaethje fight, one of the best fights ever. And you have two eye pokes, early in the fight. And it does change the dynamic of how the rest of the fight is fought. And so it would be, if there is a slight curvature to it, it will reduce the amount of eye pokes. Pride very rarely had eye pokes because their gloves were just curved completely.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the early early Bellator gloves, the Everlast ones were curved as well. So there was less eye pokes.
See, and you look and you go, people can sit there and say what they want. You can look at different organizations and see that those organizations have less eye pokes.
Yeah.
Look at bare knuckle boxing. They don't have eye pokes.
True.
And that's because, you know what? You don't have this thing that's keeping someone's hand where they have to think about closing it. Instead, when it's open, their hand just stays in that position. I hope the gloves are better.
Very true.
It's good. It's good for the fighters. It's good for the organization. I hope they really went and did something.
Dave, what else you got for us, buddy?
All right. Well, these gloves are going to debut at UFC 302, which has a headliner of Islam.
So
and
when Dustin knocks out, never mind.
What? I love Dustin Poirier.
Just playing with you.
Come on, man. Come on. I want to see how many times he jumps.
Go ahead and say it.
Though.
Go ahead and say it.
What's the over?
What?
You think they'll have a prop bet on over?
Don't be silly. Shoot that gilly.
Yeah, I love it. We gotta make a shirt and send it to him that says that. Don't be silly. Shoot that gilly. I wonder if they're gonna have a prop bet for over under on how many times he shoots the gilly.
I don't know.
If I was Vegas, that'd probably be one of my prop bets.
Yeah. It's gonna be a tough fight for him.
All right, let's go ahead.
You got to figure that's a fight. He fought against Habib.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's fighting against the guy that took the belt afterwards. We'll see what happens.
Where do you think? Do you think Islam's going to get to 30-1 and retire?
You think?
I don't know. Look, every time I've seen a lot of the top Dagestani fighters, they tend to have early careers, have success early, but they also they kind of like Movlid. He left after he won the PFL several times. He's gone. Islam Mamedov retired. Like these guys, they come in, they do their work, and they're gone. After their 30s, they're kind of, nah, I'm good. Well, I guess we're gonna find out. I mean, but I also feel like he's maybe chasing a little bit of Khabib's record, in that division, and having try to get more title defenses and try to. He's there. He's knocking on the door right now. I mean, no one's ever defended the title more than 3 times in the lightweight division.
So he's defended it twice, right?
Against the same guy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Alexander.
Yep.
I don't know.
I mean, what do you think of this fight, though, John?
I actually like this fight. I think it's a good fight. I think, obviously, there's things about it. Dustin fights as a southpaw. Guess what? Islam fights as a southpaw. Yeah. So that's going to cancel things out a little bit. In that, it'll open up that front leg kick that Dustin likes, that he was so effective against Conor McGregor with. So Islam's going to have to look out for that thing. There's a lot of things going on with this matchup, and it's a matter of, obviously I think on the, in the clinch, on the ground, Islam's got an advantage. On the feet, I don't think he has an advantage, and I think he's good there. But I think Dustin is just slicker on the feet, and power-wise, I think they're close. Mm-hmm. I think they're both very close as far as that. As far as physical strength, I think Islam might be a little physically stronger, and if he's able to get Dustin down, he's going to create a lot of problems just with his ground and pound and the size that he has and the strength that he has. And he'll look for submissions and stuff. But I think in the lightweight division, especially after last night with what happened, this is the fight to make.
Yeah, exactly.
Dustin
This
put
actually
himself in the right place.
This actually shaked out for the UFC perfectly, so it doesn't feel like someone's getting skipped over. Charles coming off the loss now, Justin coming off the loss now, Max probably going to 45, Armand just waiting in the wings to fight the winner of this fight. It kind of worked out perfectly for what the UFC was looking to do.
Everything played out.
Yeah, and this is where I'm going to go with this. I'm very interested to see what the study is on Muslims coming off of Ramadan and what their win-loss record is. Because I think it's actually very high. Think about doing your fast for a whole month, only being able to eat maybe 1 meal at night after it gets dark, and then eating 1 meal in the morning before it gets light. Like, just the way your body is being treated, you're detoxing yourself completely. So then when you get back into a full camp right away, you probably feel the best you've ever felt. And I did a 5-day water fast. And I got to be honest, my brain and my body and everything for that, like, say 2 weeks after, I felt phenomenal. I felt like everything was operating on all cylinders. I felt a lot better. It was a shitty 5 days doing the fast, but my body felt good after it. And I actually, by day 3, you kind of just fall into the routine of, okay, I'm going to get up, drink a ton of water, and you could have a little bit of bone broth, in the evening before bed. But it worked. I just felt a lot better throughout, the next 2-3 weeks after that. 2 weeks, I would say. After that, I wonder what that sense of, like, almost like a euphoria that they get after their Ramadan. I wonder what the win-loss record is on that. Because the clarity of what you're thinking, your body taking in the nutrients, is probably a lot better during that first camp. So I'd like to maybe do a little research into that and see what we can come up with. But overall, this is going to be a great fight. Dustin fighting Habib, probably one of the ones that was closest to ever finishing him, was in that Armin Gilly. And, and now Islam having that chance. Islam is a lot better grappler, though, jiu-jitsu-wise, submission-wise, than Habib was. But Habib was just that fucking mauling bear type thing, and Islam can have that as well, but he's going to be more looking for the submission, instead of the ground and pound and the mauling. All right, next fight, Dave.
So by the way, Dana did announce the co-main is 5 rounds on this card as well, and it's Sean Strickland versus Paulo Costa, but no one is reporting it for some reason. I can't find any report on it, but Dana did say it in the post-fight presser. 5 rounds, Costa and Strickland.
Sean came out and said
5 rounds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
The winner. Yeah.
Nice move, Sean.
Yeah. I thought it was a great job.
Yeah.
Not only that, but then, he said, hey, I got to talk with I'm a prize fighter. I got to talk with the UFC. And then he's like, okay, UFC. I told the UFC, I want to make money that can support my family for the rest of my life. And he said, and that's been taken care of now. So go ahead, Paulo. Let's go. I'm going to be picking you up now. That's what we'll be doing.
I think he has a much better chance in a 5-round fight against Paulo
Absolutely.
than he does in a 3-round fight.
Absolutely.
Smart
Although
move.
Paulo Costa's been looking good even in the later rounds. Lately.
No, yeah, but he does. Look, he's fast twitch muscle fiber. He's fast.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning, he's going to give Sean Strickland problems, but he does burn out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's that give and take. Fast twitch muscle fiber. You got power, you got speed, but endurance is not the thing that's going to be there for you. And it's not your fault. It's just the way you're, genetically made up.
Yeah, he's going to have to make Paulo react, make him miss. Not even supposed to make him pay, just make him burn that energy of missed punches.
That's it.
Yep.
All
right, next fight.
All right, the one we've been waiting for.
Who's been waiting for this?
Everybody.
No, Chandler's been waiting for it.
Chandler's, 38 now?
No.
I thought he was 47.
No, I think he's 37. 37, 30. He might be 38 by the time this fight happens.
I think he's 36.
Is he 36?
He's 37, you're right. Just turned it.
Damn it, you're
wait,
right.
is he about to turn 38?
Yep.
Wow.
He's about to turn 38. Why would the hell would Sherdog do that to him? Look at that face. Why would you put that picture up?
All right. He's never won the belt now, right?
I've said this. I think we just said this earlier on the show. Arman will fight the winner of Dustin and Islam, and whoever wins this fight, I could see them jumping the line and getting the next title shot after that, depending on the performance. If it's Conor, he for sure gets the title shot. If it's Chandler, if he finishes Conor, if he finishes him and he does it in impressive fashion, I think he does get the title shot. He will after Arman does. And look, he just proved he'll wait 2 years for one fighter.
Yeah,
so he'll wait for the title.
The man, you cannot say that the man does not have patience.
No.
I look at this. I was for a long time thinking, that fight's not going to happen. Well, we'll see if it does. I definitely hope it does. Look at it. This is one of those ones, Michael Chandler is going to go out there and do what he does. He's going to stand in front of Conor McGregor and throw hands, and that's not the way to get the win. But, is Conor the same fighter? I don't care what the talk says. You got to go off of all the time off, all the things that have happened, the injuries, all those things. He's not going to be the same Conor that beat Eddie Alvarez.
Does Conor kick in the first 10 seconds? That's the question.
You know, what you're going to see is how much does he kick, because in practice he's gonna be able to feel exactly what it is like, and that's going to determine how he's going to approach this fight.
In a 5-round fight, the over under on kicks, 5-round fight over under 40 kicks, 10.
No, it depends on what kind of kicks. Because I can see Conor, he uses the push kick up the middle very well.
Okay,
that's not going to affect his leg. That's not going to bother him. But the spinning back kick that he does, that's not going to bother him. But the roundhouse kicks and the calf kick, that will bother him.
All right.
That's going to have an effect on it.
This is going to be June 29th, International Fight Week. We're going to find out. So main event. Yep,
Welterweight.
main event. Let's talk about, though, the fact that it's at welterweight.
Yeah.
It's not at lightweight. Michael Chandler said, I'll fight you anywhere. It could be 185, whatever it is. But they've agreed on welterweight.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the next question. If this fight's at welterweight, do they even go to 55 to fight for the title then? If Conor wins, he's not going to fight Islam then. He's going to have to get his weight down to 55. Chandler wins. Does this count as a win in the lightweight division?
No.
So does that mean
it's not going to? Does it mean that he won't get a shot? At a title? No, he can still get the shot at 155. He'll say, "I'll go right back down."
Would Conor want to go to 55 though for that title shot?
That's the
Islam?
question.
Yeah,
that's the question.
There's a lot.
A lot
of things to be.
Be honest. Think about it. When you take a look and you say, if you're Conor and you want to actually consider going for a 155 title or a 170, who do you match up better with? Do you match up better with Islam, or do you match up better with Leon?
Yeah, I think he matches better with Islam.
Really?
Yeah.
See,
with Conor? Are you talking about Conor?
Conor.
Okay, yeah, Conor with Leon for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
So the 170 doesn't, it kind of makes sense for him.
It does. I mean, all right. I don't think that Conor. I don't think I got a lot of heat for saying that we're not getting the best fight. Conor's going to come in shape. He's going to come in ready to fight. He runs on all cylinders. Like he's very fast and aggressive. He's a fast switch fiber type fighter. Michael Chandler, he's a guy that can dig deep. We've seen him do it. He'll take a lot of punishment. He's got the miles on him. He'll be 38 by the time this fight happens. I mean, literally, Conor had him waiting the whole year.
Conor's what, 35, 36?
Somewhere in there. I think 34 or 35.
No, he's 35, 36. 35.
35.
And his birthday is going to be right after the fight.
Okay. Yeah. So he'll be 36. Interesting. Huh. Yeah. I think it's going to end up being a good fight, though. It's going to end up being a good fight.
Look, it's going to be entertaining no matter what. Chandler's going to be there to be hit. Chandler's going to try to throw big bombs at him. Mm-hmm. We'll see if Chandler can connect.
Dave, you got anything else for us?
Nope.
All right, guys.
Hello.
What else? You got anything for us there, John?
No.
No. Good. George. Where's George at?
Georgie. George of the jungle.
What's up,
buddy? What's up? All right. Anything from you, buddy?
No. I just wanted to say I think that a very interesting matchup for Max could possibly be Dustin if the cards work out perfectly.
They've already fought twice.
Yeah, they've already fought twice.
I know, but Max is looking nice and thick and juicy now.
Damn.
Come on.
Damn. George is saying that Max is looking juicy.
All right, that's another conversation.
That was Jerome right there. That was Jerome coming out.
All right, guys. Well, we want to thank you guys so much. Hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as all of our audio links. We got iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, all those things that are available for your listening platforms. You guys can listen to us in traffic, on the way to work, or on the way home, or just when you're sitting around watching your kids play sports. You guys can put the earbuds in and listen to us there as well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this show. I know it was a long one today. We did 2 hours and 40 minutes, and we did it all for you guys. So make sure you guys smash the subscribe button. There's also a link down below for our Clips channel. We're going to be doing a lot more clips on the Clips channel, so hit that link and subscribe to that channel as well so you get a notification. Hit the bell and the thumbs up. Comments down below on what you guys would like to hear, what would you guys would like for us to talk about, If there's some news that you guys would like us to drop and talk about, go ahead and hit us up down in the comment section. John, take us away, bud.
For everyone out there, I hope you enjoyed UFC 300 as much as we did. The PFL will have another fight coming up this week along with the UFC. So fighting, it never stops. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you.